Hello everyone, welcome to another Match of the Week, Coach-Pupil League. It's preseason, it's just after Christmas, and I got the greatest gift of all, good Starcraft games. And a co-caster with me to help me not look stupid. Say hello, CoZ. CoZ. I just did this. I just did this. And I'm an idiot. I'm so bad. It's CoZ. We went over this. IRK CoZ. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful, thank you. How are you doing, huh?
We'll see, I guess. we're gonna see. Now we're here for comedy, but we're here for good StarCraft casting as well. I'm not sweating the small details. We're having a good time. Lower tier matches tonight. Gonna see what the some of the new blood, some familiar CPL faces too, how they're gonna be playing the game, how things are gonna be going. We got the full group, a full 10 games. It's gonna be a good time. Are you ready to get started?
I am. I'm ready.
Well, you're going to have to wait just a second because I got to plug a bunch of stuff real quick. Tomorrow we got a match of the week as well, and I'm going to just plug it a couple times throughout, no big deal. It's going to be for the higher tier matches. It's going to be tomorrow, me and Cold Warp Gates. We did so well last time. I know you want him back, so I'm bringing him back. And then other than that, like earlier this week we had a bunch of casts from a bunch of people. It's listed in Discord. Check it out. We also have a YouTube channel for the Coach-Pupil League. All the VODs are getting uploaded there as well, so you can check that out as well. But for right now, we got some live action we're going to go into. Live off replays, because I'm smart like that. And we're going to start into our first game of Group 6, which is it's a little on the lower end, but you know what? It's going to be a fun time anyway.
Oh, yeah.
All right, to get us started off in the top right, we have the purple, the dark blue. It's hard to tell, man. The Dastardly Knight. And then the bottom left in the gray, it's Nice Pants. Cool name. I like that name.
Nice
That's
Pants.
fun.
Yeah, I was going to say, starting off strong with the names. I'm really enjoying it.
I mean, as long as I can look at the name and know what I'm supposed to be pronouncing it as, that's all I really care about.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I put you through that earlier. I'll change my name next time.
Oh, no, please don't. That's actually the worst when people are... Like, just keep flipping around, changing it back and forth for no particular reason, and it's like...
dropping pseudonyms left and right.
Or it's the aliases. That's like, I know, I'm going to trick the observers. I'm going to make CPL difficult to tell what's going on, and I'm going to just throw down weird names. Looking at getting a little basic wall off up the front, no big deal. Who's casting? It should be in the overlay at the top. Is that correct? Like, I wrote there. I'm pretty sure it's there by the group up in the top. See, I'm preemptively answering some of these.
What kind of pants does he wear? That's a good question. I'm a jeans sort of guy, but I like faded ones. You know, a nice like volcanic ash style.
Sure. Looks like we had a basic overpool opening from the Zerg player while we're figuring out what pants are going to be. And considering from the Protoss that Gateway has not been started yet, I'm going to guess it's that forward fast expand. Especially for a lower tier play, definitely something that's easy to just make sure you don't die immediately. It's like, even if you're being a little less greedy than you want to be, you can always just throw down a cannon, one more than you need. You just kind of survive no matter what's thrown at you.
Yeah, along the lines of pretty safe, relatively beginner-friendly openers, the overpool for Zerg is the same exact way. Regardless of what opener the Protoss is going to be doing, Gate or Forge, you're relatively safe. You get the decision of whether you want to go Lings, or you can just boost your eco really fast. It's a great opener.
Well, speaking of the choice of what Protoss is going to do, our Protoss player here building both the buildings, which I'm not in love with. It kind of leads against the problem that's like Forge into Nexus is reasonably good. It's safe. It'll get you through things, and it gets your economy going well. Slowing it down with this Gateway, and then it's like you're building a Gateway, so you're probably building Zealots. You're just kind of like just open with just the Gateway or just the Forge. Doing both kind of just weakens both.
Interesting. I would have said I feel like that's a more versatile opener, and that's just coming from somebody who doesn't play Protoss, obviously. But I would say, all right, you know, if I'm suspecting, let's say I open up and I know that my Zerg opponent's going to go 3 bases before pool, which would be rare, but I'd have my Gateway ready, good to go, and I could do something with it if I wanted to. Or I could throw down cannons like he's doing now.
Yeah, but you could see what we're already looking at here. Cannon being made, Zealot on the way. Actually, a second cannon. This is very overly defensive. But once you're starting, especially if you're like new to the CPL or trying to get into Brood War, it's rough to know what you really need and what you can get with. But these Lings know what they can do. They're going to get on these cannons. This is a little bit of danger time. No pros being pulled, and We got a
Oh
good
man,
start
good
from
call on
Nice
the
Pants.
Zealot though. Good call on the Zealot, coming out strong. And he's going to need something like that, you know. Maybe in retrospect, that gate was a good choice because now he's got some mobile defense other than the cannons.
But in the same way, it's like you had this mobile cannons. You saw the cannons, they got that pressure. They didn't really do much of anything. And it's like if you just did gateways, that would have been more than one Zealot. Meanwhile, we're seeing from Nice Pants, third hatchery on the way right outside that natural. Gas being mined, but no lair being started yet. Looking like gas just starting to be collected, so we'll see what the choice is going to be there. But given what he did in the opening, that next is being started, I wouldn't be surprised if this is just going to go into 3-hatch Hydra.
Yeah, that's looking. That's a very close hatch. It doesn't look like he's going for a longer eco game. I think we're going to see some serious Hydra pressure, especially in this early game.
Definitely going to be a little bit of a difficult situation we see from the Pros player. Not feeling super great right now, but the Nexus on the way. Second cannon being completed as well, so has a reasonably good spot. Hopefully Nice Pants, if they want to go for that kind of pressure, I think it's okay. Like, you can see the setup here is going to be a little hard to get all the cannons, everything you need, but there's still going to be, like, army there to fight things. This is a good opportunity to just be extra greedy with your economics, or maybe go like hard, like rushing for mutas, like to punish the fact that you know all that tech got delayed. As you can see, the Cybercard barely halfway done.
Pants is really hedging his bets here defensively, putting down 2 sunken colonies. Interesting, considering he's also going very, very aggressively with the Hydra Den. Might be consider that a little bit redundant, but he's got an Overlord here, so he should be able to see exactly when the Protoss is moving out.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the things that, especially when you're newer in the game, you gotta start getting used to, is that this is a game about money and having things the way you want to do. A bunch of gateways going down, so looking like Dastardly Knight, you want to be a little dastardly, build some units and kind of get in the mix. But you can see from both players a lot of defense that it's money invested that's like that could have been a faster expansion, that could have been faster tech, and that's gonna be one of the things you need to get over, is that it feels scary when you don't know what's happening, when you lose the scout, you don't know like what's coming your way, but your opponent can't be doing everything, so you can't always be prepared for everything. That's just going to make you lose the long game.
Yeah, for sure. But it looks like Pants is really thinking about taking this third base after all. Sort of just seems at this point like he just put down a macro hatch. And with the Evo chamber, might be going for some really, really, really early upgrades. Yeah, we're seeing +1 attack for the Hydras coming out already. So this might be a really strong timing attack.
That's definitely interesting. A couple Zealots moving across the map, not really enough to do anything, especially against those 2 Sunkens that were preemptively made. So hopefully Dastardly notices that nothing's going to get done and doesn't lose the units for free, because that could trigger an easy response for a counterattack, losing a couple of these early units when your economics were already a little bit stifled.
Yeah, you know, losing those Zealots early on, you know, puts you in a position where you're probably going to have to cannon up even stronger. But that being said, I mean, he's gonna be able to see that there are a lot of early Hydras here. You know, this might give him enough time to actually react to this effectively.
I don't know how much vision he actually saw. He took the one shot from the Sunken and immediately backed away. He's seeing a couple Hydras at the front, but it's not like you saw the giant buildup. Like if you were going to rally outside the natural, so that way you're not getting choked up by your buildings. I don't think there's a ton of like real big knowledge here, but you can see from Nice Pants a very healthy drone count, and then finally started moving out with these Hydras. These 2 Zealots are going to get caught out, and this is a bad situation for Dastardly Knight.
I like the choice for Robo though. I think that's very, very interesting. How do you feel about that?
So it's not wonderful. It depends on what you're going to be doing with it. If you know your opponent's going for a lot of Hydras, Reavers are a strong unit, but it's still just going to be very difficult to maneuver that safely. This is why like Stargate's so common, that one of the big things you can do with Stargate is that the Corsairs are easy to maneuver around. You're going to get the scouting info you're looking for, and you're not going to be in big trouble. But Dastardly Knight pulling out the classic low-level tactics of like, we're going to teach you, you need to scout your expansions. He's trying to sneak a next up in the corner. And this, what would be the kind of expansion Zerg wants, since it has double gas? Like, this is like the riskiest of risk, I think.
I like this a lot. This is a bold move. Oh, man. Because if you pull it off as the Protoss player, you now have 4 gases right off the bat. I mean, that's such a boon to your economy. You can get Templar that much faster. You can get into your higher tech that much better. You can really get a good gateway explosion going, but it is vulnerable, you know? So it's really going to come down to how much map control and how much map vision Nice Pants has.
Yeah, I think a big part of this will just be, does it actually ever get scouted? Which you even see, like, Nice Pants feels like they're doing a pretty good job. They get the Zergling up at the 12 o'clock. They got the one down the bottom patrolling between those two bases. So the things you would commonly expect for us to take, he knows are not being taken, but this is just going to throw everything for a loop.
Yeah. I like it, though. I like this move. I'm always a big fan of stuff like this. He's actually getting observer speed first. He really wants that information. Dastardly Knight does.
It's a rough one. I don't know about observer speed. Well, it's definitely a style choice when you get these, but it is an expensive upgrade. It does cost, I believe, 150 gas and 150 minerals, so it's not cheap to get this early in the game. But one of the big things that you also got to be thinking about is when the observers have the speed, like they might move ahead of your army right into the Hydras with the Overlords and just kind of die for free. That's why I like Observer range a lot more, because it's easier to keep the Observer safe while still being effective.
Yeah, I've seen that at the highest levels. That's a common move to just totally skip over, Observer speed. He's also getting range really fast, actually before Templar. So maybe he's looking to do later on in mid game a huge gateway explosion and just try and really bully this Zerg player without Storms, which is kind of a tall order. Storm is very, very important in this matchup.
It can be, but you'd actually be surprised at how effective you can get with a bunch of ranged Dragoons, especially if you're like one of those players that's like, I keep dying to Lurkers, I keep losing to Lurkers. That's like an easy way to help you either break stack defense or help you with Lurkers where you're not constantly like under threat to fight them. So going like this is not that bad, but if your opponent just goes for a lot of upgrade Hydras or some speed links or something, it gets dicey pretty quick. But we do see a lot of gateways going down, really kind of just leaning into this gateway army. Which, despite the worker count, which I gotta say, like, Nice Pants drone count, this is terrifying. This is terrifying how many drones are already in this game. And you can see, like, he has all this money. Look, he's taking 2 horn bases in the bottom right side. That Ling, knowing nothing was ever sent over there, feeling safe to kind of move into his macro game. This is not what I was expecting. And the Link sees the base in the top left.
Whew, confirmation. Not a good look. Things are not looking too good here. He's got a lower pro count than Nice Pants, and this hidden expansion was just found. And it's going to get summarily taken out very quickly by these Hydralisks. Actually, he might be able to fight for this. We're going to see quite a big engagement here. If these Zealots and these Dragoons can get over here fast enough, he can defend it. But now the problem is he's going to have to continue to ferry units over there to defend it, because that's halfway between his base and Nice Pants.
I don't know if he can take a big win here against these army, but you see Nice Pants not overcommitting, just a couple Hydras forcing the army to kind of move out. So it looks like it will be defended by Dastardly Knight, and now there's a better idea from Nice Pants of what's actually being dealt with here and where to move forward from here. But you can see a lot of Lurkers being morphed. There already was a good amount of observers on the map, so I don't think this is going to be too bad. Even Observer already moved into that top left area, so this might be a big attack from Nice Pants, but I don't know how well it's actually going to go.
Yeah, Naked Dragoons Naked Lurkers is not the best thing, especially even versus Dragoons. And he's going to easily lose 3 or 4 right there at the beginning, and the rest of these are going to get mopped up. Though, you can afford to throw away this sort of units when you've droned this hard in the early game. Nice Pants has a phenomenal economy going on. And he's got +2 attack coming up very, very soon. He's looking really good. He's also got these extra 2 bases that he can lean on very quickly. So even though Dastardly Knight has this base in the top left, Nice Pants is looking very, very good here.
Yeah, it's a big setup. Dastardly Knight might not be aware of exactly how bad the situation is. Even though there is a good amount of observers on the map, they're not really scouting out these other bases. So you might just think, like, oh, I see some Hydras moving out from the natural. I see, oh, it's like, this shouldn't be too bad. This shouldn't be, like, really that much of a problem. But maybe not under the full scope of exactly how much economy the Zerg has, which never the situation you want to be in where you're getting out economy by a Zerg.
Yeah, no. One of the key things for Protoss is putting pressure on the Zerg and forcing them to build units rather than drones. Because once that Zerg economy starts to kick in the mid game, and you really have a healthy drone count, you have enough macro hatches, you can start to do some serious damage to the Protoss.
Well, I mean, so you're seeing the situation that the Zerg has. Big economy, lots of bases, but at this whole point, you've noticed, like, there's been no Corsairs at all. You know it's a big Protoss ground army, which, despite the work count, you see definitely still a little bit up on that supply, and the upgrade's not bad for the Protoss as well, having 1 armor and 1 attack. I do wish that Templar was faster to keep the upgrades going and get the Storm, but this still can be pretty intimidating. There's pressure at the natural. I don't know how hard this is going to be to defend.
Yeah, you can never count out a Protoss army, especially when they start to get 1-on-1. And he's got shields coming on the way. He's got a healthy Dragoon count back at home. He's macroing pretty well. He's got enough gates to really upkeep this army if it starts to get taken out. So I think this is a perfect opportunity to start moving in, putting some pressure on the Zerg, and forcing some units out of him.
Unfortunately, attacking forward a little bit, but not bringing the entire army. A couple things, taking some free lurker shots. That not the best engagement we've seen from Dashley so far today, but it does keep buying him time. That upper left base getting established. Finally, I was expecting some cannons. I was like, finally some cannons. It's got to be cannons. No, it's a gateway. It's pylons. Thinking that just units are going to be enough to get the job done. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
this
pure army.
Yeah, which, I mean, pure army, I don't mind playing like this at all, but it does feel a little bit dangerous that you're not getting any of that big tech, but a couple Overlords getting picked off here by his Dragoons. Showing the power that Dragoons, not a terrible unit, not as bad as you think they are in this matchup.
No, I mean, whole position Dragoons I maintain hit very, very hard, and they are something that I tend to avoid attacking directly into because they hit like a truck. I would love to see Zealot legs at a Dastardly Knight, and a couple more Zealots to kind of round out his unit composition if he can. Because right now his Zealots are a little slow, and I think this army would be that much scarier with speed Zealots.
Well, he just doesn't have that many Zealots to begin with, though. Going into a big fight at the natural. Good amount of Hydras here and some Lurkers as well, but this is a lot of Protoss units, especially Dragoons, so not everything's engaged in the fight right away. Dashley Knight taking their early fight, pushing the Zerg back, but there's still a decent amount of stacked defense and buildings in the way. I don't know how much further you really want to go forward, but the beginning of this fight went very well for the Crossfire.
Yeah, and this is where you're starting to see the Dragoons really do work. When you're able to park yourself outside of the natural of a Zerg player and just rain heck down on them with your Dragoons, you really can do some serious damage. I like that he's deciding to pull back, though. That's a very, very good decision. It can be very easy to throw away your army as a Protoss player, especially your Dragoons. So I want to see him pull back, hopefully get some more Dragoons, get some more Zealots. And right now, though, we're seeing an attack from Nice Pants here at the top left.
Yeah, also some Lurkers moving in towards the natural of the Protoss player too, so Nice Pants taking a good opportunity to get some counter damage done. And even though that attack looked pretty strong, remember that economy so good from Nice Pants, looking like very easy to replenish the units that are there. And during all this time, you actually saw a lot of the upgrades going down. I haven't had even a chance to really take a look, but drops on the way, Ultra's Cavern already completed, and has been keep going with these Evolution Chamber upgrades. So this is Zerg army kind of just looking very intimidating, while Dashley Knight just loves building Dragoons.
Yeah, Nice Pants is all over these upgrades. He's been doing a great job consistently this whole game, getting +1, +2. He's cruising to +3, range attack. He's looking great here. He's also trying to set up a lurker contain, which I think is, although it's a bit ambitious given the number of Dragoons we got here, I think it's a good move, and he's got the economy to spare some of these lurkers if he decides to throw them away.
I think that's one of those kind of moves that you won't even notice how much it's doing. If you're in the heat of battle, you're like, I need to reinforce that top left base. Just kind of do what I can. You just send them over. You just send that move command over. You won't even notice that they're there. Like, it's one of those things that could potentially do a lot of damage. But really, all we're seeing is just so much time being built from Nice Pants to really use the economy. Now we're starting to see the attack up at the natural. Now the top left's done. Dashley Knight in 2 bases, and without the tech necessary to really kind of make this defense looking like it's going to happen.
Yeah, this is a tremendous number of Dragoons. He is a full-on good man right now. This is great.
I mean, I don't hate the idea, but I do think it's a bit of the wrong matchup. Seeing some of that splash damage, whether it be Reaver, whether it be Storm, or even just like having some speed zealots that could take the thing. Dragoons in this straight-up fight against this well-upgraded Zerg army, not going to be the best thing in history.
Now, Nice Pants is switching into Ultras, which very expensive, and Dragoons do decently well against. So he does have that going for him. This ultimate tech switch, he's not going to be too hampered by. But again, like we're seeing a nice round of Zealots here. He's about halfway done with his legs, so he's looking a little bit better here. If he can break out of this contain, take this. Oh man, look at this cheeky expansion from Nice Pants up here, right at the 3rd base of Dastardly Knight. Well done.
These guys just do not want to take the bases they're supposed to be taking. It looks like another small contingency of units trying to go to that top left. But the Nexus hasn't been rebuilt there, so it's not really imperative to try to keep that down just yet. It's going to be hard to get a probe over there alive with all these circuits just parked outside. And Nice Pants just feeling very comfortable on, what is this, like 5 bases up and running, even though some of them a little bit light on drones?
Yeah, I mean, he's looking great. You could transfer a couple of these drones if you really wanted to, but, you know, when, when you've got 5 bases going, with a soon-to-be sixth, you know, you're looking pretty good. Things are okay. I think he's really doing a great job of reinforcing this, and this is what it's going to come down to, whether or not Dastardly Knight can break this contain once and for all and take another base.
He's trying to move out here right now. There's a lot of Dragoons here, but not a lot of front line. You can see the Ultralisk being able to just move straight forward, and lots of Hydras free-firing under the cover of some of the Lurkers as well. It's a lot of Dragoons with a good concave, but you can just see the Zerg, the way they're reinforcing this, looking like it's just going to be enough without that splash damage. And managing to defend this for now, pulling back for the moment, but it's still, like, this is dangerous times we're seeing here.
Yeah, I think one switch to some hard cracklings, especially given the upgrades that Nice Pants has, would be deadly to this Dragoon heavy army. I mean, but we do see storms. Nice.
I didn't actually catch if Storm ever got researched. We see High Templar, but do we actually see Storm?
Maybe it's maybe he's decided to just skip straight from Storm right into Archons, which would be a good move unto itself. I mean, if you don't have Storm, Archons are still strong.
It's not what you want against this kind of army, though. When you're seeing this Ultralisk, Hydras, this kind of thing, that's like this kind of thing that are great against Mutalisks and Zerglings. These units that are clumped up or have very low health, but that's not really the thing you want for something like this, though.
Yeah.
Oh man, look at Nice Pants sending up a drone up to the left side. He wants to try and take that base. There's tons of Dragoons still over there holding that fort down, so whenever he gets a chance to take that Nexus over, but that's a lot of army he kind of needs at the front right now that isn't there.
Yeah, you know, he has busted out of this contain enough. Let's see if he actually notices. Oh, there it is. He sees the cheeky expand. Nice, so he's going to be able to take that, hopefully, and get some more minerals coming. He's totally dry in the natural at the main, and the natural's getting kind of low here. But this is a big counterattack from Nice Pants. He looks like he's ready to defend this hatchery.
Yeah, I think even if you lose the hatchery here, you clear off those kind of units and just keep this Pro stuck on 2 base. You can see that there's attempts to try to break out, to try to win some of these fights, but Nice Pants not letting Dastardly Knight get out of the base and establish anything else. Just let him dry up these 2 bases while he's taking the entire map.
Yeah, we've just seen a steady stream of units from Nice Pants. Really, really good. Great replenishment of his army. And that's, you know, hearkening all the way back to that early game devotion to drones that he had. He was just drone, setting up his economy so that this late game can happen for him. He's been doing a great job.
Wow, good amount of Dragoons trying to push out there. There's only a couple Lurkers and a couple Ultras here. A lot of that army set to clear that top base, make sure that survives, but I think right now you got to actually defend this army that's coming out from the Pro player. Even though Nice Pants' supply is not really plummeting, it's not like he's winning a big fight like this, but this is the foothold that definitely will ensure you the game later. Just make sure Pro doesn't get out.
Certainly. Yeah, I mean, he's doing a great job spending all his money, really. So every time he takes an engagement with the Protoss army, he's whittling away at that huge bank that Dastardly Knight had. So he's just got to keep this up, and he's looking good.
Finally seeing a couple of these Protoss units move out, but they're trying to go for that 12 o'clock base. I think it's really important. Dastardly Knight seeing it's like, I gotta take this base. It's the only base I can try to take. It's my next option that I might actually be able to defend. Right now, having these 2 bases so far apart, just you're gonna not be able to work out so well. But there's still so many Dragoons on this left side not being used at all. Just hoping that one day he'll get back to that top left, but he's got bigger problems right now.
Yeah, your natural's getting hit pretty hard by some ultras, right? I would love to see this army on the far left side come down and put pressure on this 4th base from Nice Pants. Really, they're there. Oh, he's setting up lurkers at the top of the ramp. Never mind.
Oh, what a move. Like, that's just the most annoying thing, having to deal with that. The Dragoons are a good option to help you deal with it. You get the observer there, you can shoot at it from a distance, but just still, you can see and like look at where we're at for Dastardly Knight now. Totally dry in the main, totally dry in the natural, doesn't have 400 banked. He's actually got the long distance mind to even build a Nexus at his next location, but he's got a lot of army. Maybe he can make some kind of big play, but like at this point, it's not seeming like Dastardly Knight has options anymore. And I still don't think I ever saw Storm get research. I haven't seen one get cast. I think that just might be one of those in the heat about, oops, I forgot, happens to everybody.
Yeah, he did opt for a shuttle, though. So we might see maybe an Archon drop, some nice moves like that later on in the game.
A little bit of the wrong game in the Archon shop here.
This unfortunately isn't the sequel.
Oh man, if shuttles could drop at like 5 range, oh please.
Oh my god, disgustingly good.
We're seeing these probes trying to get forward to get that long distance mine so they can build a nexus, and it's going to be a little bit of a thing. But you see, Dashley Knight did move up forward enough, trying to actually defend this. But still, you're looking at the end of the day, 62 drones from Nice Pants, all these bases completely undisturbed. Zerg is actually mining out some of their bases, which that's a little unusual you see in this matchup. Like usually not enough drones to really mine things out, but still being able to get that done. And Nice Pants, lots of tech, lots of upgrades, building a lot of these core units, and Dashley just, I don't know what the move is going to be. It's going to be difficult to go on from here.
Yeah, this is a tough call no matter what. You got this isolated outpost here in the top left. You have 16 or so units here at your front, and you're having a long distance mine for your next nexus. Like, it's a rough spot, very, very rough spot.
It's gonna get even rougher. Nice Pants decides, like, all right, listen, I've had enough of these dragoons. I'm building that Defiler mount. Dark Swarm's gonna carry me through to this one. That's such a good spell against a very dragoon-heavy army.
Oh yeah, I mean that's just does work, especially with these two Zerglings that he's pumping out here with Adrenal Glands. So good. He's also opted for Aspire. I feel like that's just kind of rounding out everything. He wants it all. But this is a big move. He's finally had enough of this top left base. He's taking it out here.
Is taking out some of these buildings, but they're not the important part. Losing these dragoons for free in a way that's not even like, it's not going to even take out any units. This is an army that was not available to help defend some of these other bases, and you can see exactly how strong this Zerg army is. Takes out all that without any question at all, and really all that did was make sure Nice Pants has another expansion to take and 2 more gases, more importantly.
Yeah, this is a scary Zerg army. I mean, 3-2 here. He's about halfway done with his next melee attack. He's Dastardly Knight. Things are looking pretty dastardly for you, sir.
This is gonna be rough. You see all his army up at that what should have been the Protoss 4th base, but the game just didn't pan out that way. They're getting it together in a way, and a long time ago it hasn't really come into play. But drop was researched when after High Tech got completed. So like you have this army, if it's all kind of clumped up in front of this natural to defend it, you might just be able to throw in stuff in the Overlords and bypass the entire thing.
Yeah, just Doom Drop. Why not? You know, give it a good go. But he does have a Nexus coming up. So, on the one hand, we're making progress with the long-distance mining, right?
I mean, on the one hand, there's progress being made, but really, it's a drop in the bucket. It's like you have your boat is flooding, but all you guys like a mug, and you're trying. It's like progress is being made, but not really, not effectively. You can see
the eternal optimist.
Well, like, hey, listen, like, we've seen, like, a lot of, the fact that Dashley's still trying to get in this game, thinking they establish that next base, there's the optimism. A couple lurkers coming in from the side, finding the opportunity to try and get a little flank on, but the Protoss army cleaned it up pretty easily. I thought that was going to be, like, a good opportunity. It's like, let's get that other attack, but like I was mentioning, these drops, I'm hearing a bunch of things going to Overlords, and here comes that move into the base. There's no cannons, Dragoon's not in position either, so this could spell the end, I think, for Dashley.
Yeah, this is looking like the death move here. I mean, this is a ton of units coming in. There's not much here to defend. Only 4 Dragoons. And we're going to see it unloaded. Here we go.
Even Ultralists are going to be such a pain. You should just park those at the ramp, and I'll give the legs all the time they need. Not that they need much time when they got the Hive upgrades and all these melee attack upgrades too. Like, this is just such a rough spot to be in. Seeing that next Nexus go down, and you can look again, not 400 minerals. Dashley trying to take a fight at the front, trying to get something done, but he's definitely going to lose this Nexus. It's not quite enough, and even Nice Pants taking another attack from the flank. And Dashley finally tapping out. Nice Pants seemed like they were in control the whole way, but Dashley wouldn't go down without a fight.
Very well played from Nice Pants. Very well played.
Yeah,
I love cheeky behavior from Dastardly.
Yeah, that's definitely a rough one when you play Protoss, and I mean, it's not just because of what it is, but this is like one of those things where I'm like, you can't really afford that forge in the gateway. You can't afford to build more cans than you need. Like all these little things that don't seem like a problem, but that's like That's the difference between I can't threaten you, go take another base. Go make 10 more drones. I can't stop you because you know I put my money into other things. And it just gets out of hand fast, especially if your opponent, it's just, if they're being a little greedy, it's like, well, you come and stop me. I can't. Like, it sucks.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you know, doing the Forge Gateway early on kind of forces you, because you're spending so much defensively, you're not able to really put that pressure on the Zerg and take them off of that ego mindset, which Nice Pants had in spades. So he really got those drones up early. He set himself up really, really well for that really, really strong mid and late game.
Yeah, I think one of the problems we saw from that game, basically the whole time, was just, I think it got to 30 drones, and Nice Pants never lost the worker lead, which that's not what's supposed to happen in that matchup. But you know what? It's fine. It was a nice win from Nice Pants. Let's see how the next game's going to go. I think we're going into another PBZ. And in the top right, we got Reef Ego. So different Protoss, different color, better color, orange. My man, like it. And then Nice Pants in the brown down the bottom left. And we're going to see if is Nice Pants just that greedy kind of player? Or is that like a clash of styles, seeing the less than optimal opener, and Nice Pants having the reaction?
Interesting. So I've actually casted 4 of Reef's games before, and he every other time did a very, very solid, very consistent build order of the Forge first, and I really liked it. Really committed to it. Just did 2 cannons, took his Nexus, had really nice, very linear tech style that I really, really enjoyed. Put a little bit of pressure on the Protoss, the Zerg player here and there, but generally speaking, he was a mid-game oriented player. So I'm gonna be really interested to see how he fares against someone who also seems to be a mid-game oriented player in Nice Pants.
Oh, we got that early pylon going for that wall. So standard in this matchup. You're going to see that pretty much all the time, especially from any of these lower level players. It's so hard to try to do any crazy one base thing. It sounds like it'd be easier to learn. Trust me, it's not. Like, it's totally way harder. Like, it's so easy to mess that up and just immediately lose. But we're seeing that kind of thing, and we're still seeing overpool from Nice Pants, making sure like no proxy gates for you on Eclipse. I don't care how easy it is to hide stuff. Like, we're not gonna let this happen. And we got that pro from Reef. What kind of building is he gonna start with? It's a Forge, so hopefully a little bit more of the opening I was talking about before. Just Forge, get a Nexus, cans to keep you alive, not this Forge Gateway thing, which I really just don't like.
Yeah, powering yourself with the probes early on and skimping on the defenses as much as you can really, really does you wonders as you're trying to push out later with those initial like zealot pushes, like, you know, say the 730, or just the general mid game overall.
To see, here comes the can down, so that's before the gateway. Makes me think that you do want to go for that early Nexus. Now, this is one of the kind of things that you try to get used to a little bit. We're actually seeing Reef, it looked like he was opting for maybe trying to block the hatchery a little tiny bit, didn't quite work out. But you don't, like, the can should be a reaction to how many lings are actually being made. Like, what do you see with that scouting probe? So him seeing these eggs being morphed, he knows, like, it's 2, maybe 4, it's not so crazy. But we're seeing these 2 cans here. It's more defensive than you need to be, really, and it's just slowing down next again, albeit not nearly as bad as what we saw in the first game.
Yeah, and this really goes right in line with how he had played last time and what I'm used to seeing from him, which is regardless of the Zerg's opener, he's going to put his 2 cannons down, he's going to make sure that he's as safe as possible, and then he's going to macro hard behind that. So I'm going to be interested to see if Nice Pants really forces a deviation from this by putting his 3rd hatch down at his natural like he did before. Because that really should set off some alarm bells for a Protoss player. Like, oh, am I going to get 3 hatch Hydra? You know, rather than seeing the normal hatchery at the 3rd base. So yeah, looks like Nice Pants is doing it again.
This is just a rough spot, though. The Overlord, getting hit with the can, not going to get taken out or anything, being able to hide above that building. We'll be able to see the Nexus timing and have an idea. It's like, oh, like, it's okay. You made 2 cans, not so bad. A couple links up the front, but they don't have to suicide in. They don't have to do anything crazy. We got another hatchery on the way. We got gas in the main being morphed, and we'll see. Is this going to be more Hydras for that early pressure, or is this one going to actually be like a quicker lair instead?
Yeah, he seemed to, that first game seemed like Nice Pants was possibly flirting with the idea of doing a Hydra bust. Got that Hydra Den early up. I'm interested to see if he decides to just simply transition more into a faster layer and maybe do some Spire tech, something like that. I'm interested to see how consistent he'll be with his last match. Oh, very consistent. Another creep colony. He actually opts for 1 this time rather than 2. So these are 2 very safe players that are kind of playing ultra defensively regardless of what their opponent's doing.
Yeah, this pro managed to actually get back in the Zerg base going in. Yes. Like, if you could see that Hydra or see that lair, that's like big information. He's doing a good job keeping the probe alive. That was something we saw in the other game, how fast that scout went down. And it went down just as the Hydra did. I don't think he got a chance to actually see it. So close to being able to actually scout that out. So a very nice attempt from Reef. And we're seeing Nice Pants, very typical kind of play what we saw last time. It's only 1 sunken this time, not 2, but he still has the links that the typical, like, maybe Pearls will take a 3rd here. He's still doing that kind of, like, he has like a set plan of what he wants to do in this matchup. And I love seeing that from players, regardless of if the plan's like exactly what is like optimal or like what a pro would do or anything like that. Just like, this is what I'm trying to do. It makes sense to me. I'm going to refine this. And I can try to learn something else later when a coach can help me out, but having an idea of what you want to do, I feel so important at this level.
Yeah, I mean, Nice Pants has had a very, very consistent game so far, just right along the lines of last game, which is that early Hydrogen, getting the early Evo chamber, 3 hatches, and then going to take his 4th right now. So he's very, very consistent. I like that a lot. So I'm very excited to see how this mid-game rolls out, especially with this consistent economy from Ego. He's been doing a great job just pounding out his probes, getting his economy moving. He's got the 2 extra gates up here, and we're starting to see that Citadel.
All right, so this is a little bit more of what I was expecting. Because remember, like, last game, you asked me, like, hey, what do I think about Rogue? And I said, I'm not, like, in love with it. This is the kind of opening you'll see, I think, a little more closer to the approximation if you don't want to go for Stargate. You get it, like, get this early Citadel. It gives you the option for Templar, but you could just go like Zealot legs, upgrades, like put a lot of pressure on early, because when Zealots have legs and like a +1 weapon upgrade, they are terrifying. And so you can come out with these things much faster, but going for like the Observer, what we saw, it doesn't really suit the matchup as well, in my opinion. So, like, liking this a lot more. I used to actually love doing Citadel openings before I was like, no, I need to learn how to use Corsairs better. So I totally get this kind of opening.
Yeah, yeah. You know, in the same vein that Zealots with legs and +1 are scary, Hydras with +1 attack is equally scary. I mean, that sort of damage output's incredible. And Nice Pants has opted for that very early in both of these matches, and I like that a lot. I think that's a great maneuver, seeing as he commits very heavily to a lot of Hydras throughout the game. So I think that's a great choice.
I like this build. I like what we're seeing from the pros here. There's a Gateway's going down, Zealot legs on the way, and Temple Archive as well. So even if you don't rush it for Storms, having it as the option there, it could just be for Archons, like kind of like an old school style push, which is like +1 Zealots with speed. You get some Archons, it's just like a punch and just throw units at the Zerg. Before they can really get things going, you can already see the difference in this matchup instead. Like, Nice Pants not sitting at like 4 bases and 1,000 drones. Like, he had to actually make more units. And you can see Reef trying to go up this ramp, actually start fighting things. But the Zealot pathing and just the AI not being great, taking so much free damage, this is tragic for a Reef. I feel like there's an opportunity here, but just, it's Brood War. Sometimes things happen.
yeah, for sure. He is getting Storm right now, so this is nice. Although he lost these Zealots, he's falling back on a really, really reliable tech, and his legs are about to finish up. So although you did lose a fair number of Zealots, on the other hand, you did force a number of Hydralisks and a large military response out of the Zerg player, which is always good. You know, we can see right now that Reef is still pulling away with the probes, which is exactly what you want. As a Protoss player, you want to be up in drones. You want to be consistently producing more than them. And we see a Robo now out of Reef too.
Yeah, this is about the time that if you're playing this kind of opening, it's like you saw a bunch of Hydras, you never saw Muta come across, which we didn't really even touch on that, but that is fortunate that there was no Muta tech available, because you could see there's no cannons by the mineral lines. That's the kind of thing that you take that risk that's like, well, if he's going Mutas, I gotta make cannons, I gotta get through, just wait for Storm or wait for Archons to hit the board that like help me out. So that never really ended up happening, just luckily wasn't punished for the choice. But you can see now, it's like when you don't see Mutas, it's like, well, you can't be on Hydras forever. If you didn't go Mutas, what other tech is there? Lurkers, and that's about it. So getting those observers as soon as possible seems like a very smart move here.
Another, and in the same vein, you know, You need that third and fourth gas for those early lurkers. And Nice Pants has already taken that fourth base. Really great move, but this action might be found from Reef. Unless Reef is going to take his third really quick too, which I think is a great move.
Well,
That's
I mean,
awesome.
he came down with this probe as well. Keeping the Zealots here too, just to make sure that counterattack's not super free. So I'd like to play here that's trying to establish that next base, use the strength you have right now. But we see like a bunch of these upgrades kind of going through. Not in love that it was a rush for this armor upgrade, because one of the good things when you do these kind of Citadel openings, you get that Templar archive so quick. You can just roll from +1 weapons to +2 weapons like seamlessly. There's no downtime at all. Really like keep that going. So choosing to go for the cheaper upgrade instead, like just make sure you can keep things going. Dragoon range on the way as well, and these observers will hit before lurkers really hit the field. But that might just be from Nice Pants' lair time. It seems to be a little bit late because he's so focused on just like having an army and having these drone counts, which again, very high for this matchup. Like it's crazy to watch.
Yeah, he's getting the opportunity to drone, and he's running with it certainly. Same thing with bases. He's really taking bases aggressively, and he's droning aggressively, which is great. Yeah, we've even got the 3 hatches in the main, really committing to it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I don't
We've
hate
got a
that
DT
at all.
hanging
We are seeing a little bit of move from Reef. He's trying to poke around with this DT over on the left side, trying to find what that base is. Thinking that the fourth base might have been there. Might not even suspect that the fourth base is actually so close to his own third, which is actually a little bit funny to think about.
Yeah, these guys are neighbors down here. They both opted for the one of the rarer expansions. Nicely done.
Gotta commend Nice Pants being very diligent. Every one of these bases, this DT's trying to look around, find opportunity, but there's an overlord at every one of these bases, so that DT is not gonna just sneak in and start murdering everything. But Reef's army, very scary so far. Pro production was very good, and it's like keeping up with these gateways. Actually, the money's still pretty well, like pretty low, and actually getting this Nexus up, like Reef's situation looking pretty good.
This is starting to seem like we're going to see one big, huge confrontation. You know, there hasn't been a huge amount of skirmishes here. There hasn't been a massive amount of harassment. And both players are doing, I mean, look at the sheer number of upgrades we got coming out of Nice Pants right now. He's going for everything right now. Overlord speed, attack, carapace, going for meta boost. I mean, I think we're going to see a pretty big confrontation here. Probably within the next 3 to 4 minutes.
Look at this daring probe transfer down to the right side. Like the window's there, but look how many probes this is. It's like this is gonna get this base up and running instantly. That's hilarious to me that he's gonna get away with this. But like
a beautiful migration, you know.
Yeah, the
like bird
Overlord
going south for the winter.
Oh, the 6 health Overlord barely not dying, but definitely saw that movement. We'll see if Nice Pants feels comfortable trying to go for some kind of attack, but like Reef's army right now just has all the things you're looking for. The Overlord poking through, confirming that base is there, but seeing that there's plenty of army, there's a couple cannons as well, and I don't even think it saw the stuff on the low ground. So this is this situation looking pretty good for Reef. Like this is the kind of like PvZ I like to see, just like 3 base and muscle it down and prepare for a big fight. And you can see that by he's like the worker count's reasonably similar, but that supply count's very different.
Yeah, and what a dump on lurkers. He just dumped 10 overlords in a row and then just pounded out 6 lurkers. He's really looking for a serious fight here. I like it a lot. Lurkers do so much damage.
I mean, they are super good for like when you just know it's like your opponent's army. This is all ground. I haven't seen any Corsairs. There's nothing here. It's all ground stuff. Like even if it does, like there's a lot of Dragoons at range, there's a lot of Storm or whatever. The fact that you could slow down the Zealots from just getting in your mix. But there's a shuttle that got made from Protoss, and one of the things that's like, oh, you think you make workers, huh? You think you're having a good time, huh? How about Storm drops and DT drops? We'll see if that's what the play is going to be.
Yeah. I wake up in a cold sweat at night from a good Storm drop. You know, you're just like macroing pretty hard as a Zerg player. You're feeling pretty good, and then immediately 2 of your mineral lines are wiped out. You're like, oh my god. Queen's at S2, so he's looked like he's actually getting drop right now. Very nice from Nice Pants.
Yeah, this is very similar to what we were seeing last game. It looked like they got dropped and went straight into their high tech. So I'm expecting the same kind of thing. This one link did see this shuttle if it was paying attention. Well, let's see if there was eyes on the minimap to actually catch that. That's the one thing with patrol units. Like, it will see bases. It'll be good to help you out, but when you're not actively paying attention to them, you might not see it. And we're seeing that thing across that left side. I don't see any Hydras being moved.
We're looking good. Just don't lose the shuttle. All right.
The one Spore colony there going to be able to dissuade that. So that's
drop down here at the bottom right, though. Woo! This is a big one. It looks like he's just going to ferry over this small cliffside. You know, it looks like about six or eight overlords, and he's just going to drop right into this base here. There's a couple storms waiting now.
You're making me panic. You said drop, and I'm looking at the map. Like, did I miss it? Like, what happened? Like, preparations for a drop. Zerg going in hard here.
Yeah, there it is.
All these units, but they're at the front. One can's not going to be enough. Lots of stings here, especially Storm. So there's definitely an opportunity to get something done here. But the Lurkers burrow, so much damage being done. I think even if you lose all the armies, this seems pretty worth it.
Oh, yeah. Woo. I think that drop was worth it. Yeah. Took out a fair number of probes. Took out a lot. I think that was decent. It's really softened it up. So if he wants to go in for another drop, he can.
Yeah, definitely softening that up. The worker count pretty even now. Although, meanwhile, through all this, Reef did get their 4th base up at 12 o'clock. You see a couple links trying to move up there. There's nothing in position to actually stop this. So this is their army, but he's got to react quick because they're going to kill these buildings so quickly.
Yeah. Oh man, he looks like he's just going to go for it right now. He's not even going to defend this base. He's just going to go and try and end the game. All right. Then he's moving down, so this base is a loss up here, but there's a big confrontation here in the middle.
I kind of love this decision here. You just defended a drop, cleared it out. You lost a bunch, but they lost a bunch too. You see stuff going towards the 12 o'clock. How much can they really have at home to defend? Coming in from 2 flanks as well, so taking a big fight in the middle, but also up to the natural. Like, this is a pretty good move from Reef, and he's got a decent bank to back this up. He can afford to lose that base.
Yeah, look at this. These Lurkers are shredding this army down bottom, though. He's got to get an observer down here. He's got to get that one over here. He should have gone observer speed like last game.
Well, really, the big problem is how separated the units were. Some links trying to go for it at the front. There's nothing at the entrance of the natural, so nice pants getting their own counterattack done. Lots of units going down to these Lurkers. The lack of observers here for too long really kind of slowing things down. Now it's just not enough. The links get cleaned up at the front, so he doesn't lose anything major. But a giant army reset, and then look at the supplies. Nice Pants had way more afterwards, and Reef actually just tapping out after that kind of failed move. Looks like another drop went in at the bottom right as well. And Nice Pants, very clean plan for his ZVP. I'm sure whatever coach has him is excited to work with that.
Yeah, he's consistent, man. That's one thing that's just awesome. It's great to watch. Great to watch a player that does very well twice in a row. Just playing the same solid game, very linear, making good decisions. But I gotta say, I do love really aggressive plays, and I love that Reef decided he was just going to push all the chips in, and he was going to just try and end the game after getting dropped once and then having his newly built 3rd base get attacked. Great choice.
Oh, man, I just... Like, you're saying, like, oh, Storm Drops, they gave me nightmares. When I see the Pro S army, there's an observer, but it's not quite there, and it's walking into Lurkers. That is my nightmare. Although it's actually my reality. Trust me, I lose every game to that anyway. But
we're speed, keep it up. I mean, you were harking on it earlier, but I don't know.
Maybe we'll see. But we're gonna give Nice Pants a break. We're gonna get some non-Zerg in here. I know you're having a great time, but we're gonna save some of the Zerg games for later on. Get into our 3rd game, so we'll see what some other players in this group got for us. I think we're gonna see 2 people we haven't seen yet.
Nice. I love non-Zerg matchups. Oh, you lied to me.
Oh, I thought he was a Pro S player. Oh wait, no, we saw the 2 Pro S players. I'm dumb. You're right. I did lie to you. In the top right, the subject of why I'm a liar. In the green Zerg, it's Paz. And in the bottom left, CPL mainstay Borisu. We'll see what I've seen this kid do. He'll do real serious tryhard stuff. He'll do the weirdest, wackiest crap. I don't know what I'm gonna see out of him today.
Yeah, I played him 3 times last year, and every time it was a completely different person, I'm convinced. There was no consistency. It was incredible. I was like, oh, he just BBS'd me. Like, okay, cool. Then 2 weeks later, he plays a totally standard game and destroys me. Like, okay, I don't know what to do here.
I love when you see these names that have been around in the CPL. Like, I've been here for a couple seasons now, so when I know players that have been around since at least when I've joined, and I get to see them in a bunch of games, I'm like, oh, I'm getting a vibe. I get an idea of how this person wants to play. I get to see what's going on, and we're gonna see what we're seeing from CoZ. This is that 9 pool. Like, no, not an over pool, not going hatchery first. 9 pool looks maybe want to put that pressure on.
This has been, I've seen this out of a lot of very good players here on Eclipse, and I think it's very, very powerful if it's done well. It's got a nice window where you tend to put a lot of pressure on the Terran player before they get out of an early Vulture, and typically when they have about only 1 or 2 Marines. I think it's a great move. Great move.
Even doing the extractor trick too, just trying to get things going a little tiny bit. The SCV moved out quite quickly, sees the timing. So if he knows what reaction he wants to do to stop this, and it looks like he's already kind of set up a little bit of a wall down here. You see the supply depot looks like a barracks now line up right in space with that command center, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't, like, me and walls. Don't trust me in walls ever. Never going to happen. But that's what it looks like what's going to happen, and we're seeing some links getting made from CoZ. We're going to test that wall, see if it's going to be good enough. Despite being a 2-player map, the distance on this, like the travel ground to ground, pretty long because it is a diagonal, hard diagonal. You know exactly how long things are going to take.
Yeah.
No, Nablime, he's busting out the rhyme saying that Borsu building this incorrectly. Unfortunate.
To the left, he will be direct.
A little unfortunate, but that is one of the things that Nablime does hark on a lot about a lot of the rhymes, that the Terran building placement very important. It's like, this building has to be on this side, not this one. On this side, not this one. Apparently it's one of those things really easy to mess up, but we'll see if CoZ can actually punish this. Getting a bunker in this little tiny hole here, like trying to block it up, and actually using some SCVs, making sure these links don't get in the base. So Borsu respecting the threat of this 9 pool, but really that's buying CoZ some time. He's not making more links to back this up. Gas on the way and the hatchery as well, so I kind of like where this is going so far for both players. Like, no one's losing anything drastic right now.
Yeah, and CoZ is just going for it. He's actually going to run by right here. Oh, nice block, though. Nice block. Not even going to matter. Oh, now he gets in. It's
Caster curse. Oh, no. Poor Borsu. What does he have to deal with here?
Nicely done. Nicely done. He's going to be able to get in here, do a little bit of damage, do some harass, pull some line workers. Nice.
Well, at least it's a little bit better, because one of the things that's, like, when this happens, like, against Protoss, like, probes are so easy to die, and they're, like, Zealots are slow, they're melee, like, it's hard to actually get any of this to work. But SCVs can fight back a little bit more, Marines having that range, so it's not so bad, but not cleaning things up quite as fast as possible. A couple things go down, but losing all those lings, and it did damage, but it didn't do, like, super critical damage, you know?
Yeah, it wasn't incredible, but you know, it gave him enough time. He's really evened out the worker count a little more than it was. He's got his 3rd hatch coming in base. Like, you know, CoZ is looking okay here. I'd like to see these Zerglings down in front of the natural, so you can figure out what's going on. But other than that, this is shaping up to be quite standard. Quite standard.
Well, the SCV from Borsu going in at the perfect time. Sees some lanes trying to move out, but nothing crazy. Sees all the info he's looking for, but it was damaged, didn't get past the ramp. So really just confirms there's an expansion there, which at this point in the game, you would assume that's there to begin with.
Yeah. The other thing he's not sure of is whether it's a 2 hatch, a 3 hatch, or like a 2.5 hatch, which is the hatch in base, from what I've heard. I'm not a big 2.5 hatch kind of guy, but I'm gonna be interested to see if we're gonna see a Hydra Den or a Spire first. I think that's really the big tech move decision for the Zerg player.
Well, I mean, we're going to see that pretty quickly here, because there's no reason if you're going for Lair and you want to get Hydras to delay the Hydra Den. You don't have to wait till the Lair's finished. You can start when it's about that, like a little bit more than halfway, right? And then they line up, they finish at the same time. So the fact we haven't seen the Hydra Den started yet, I'm thinking it is just going to be Spire. Though CoZ, like, you can see here, his drone count not like crazy healthy right now, and making some more lanes trying to poke out and get something done, but like, I don't know if this is what I'm looking for here. Don't you want, like, you want to save up the resources the best you can, make sure it's like when you have those mutas on the way, you get that big burst of power that really threats the Terran?
Yeah, I mean, he's floating a lot of larva here, so it almost leads me to believe that he's saving up for meta, and might just do a massive link all-in at some point, because he hasn't put down any tech buildings yet. and he doesn't have a tremendous number of drones. But I could be speaking too soon. Who knows? After that SCV moment, I don't even trust myself.
Well, the SCV doesn't get in too much further. Confirms that there is some stacked events either fully completed or halfway completed, so Borisu should have an idea. That's a little bit dangerous here, but Borisu did move out, managed to take out an Overlord. You can see Paz now actually supply blocks, so it's going to kind of get in the way of all these plans. Although, like, Borisu just adding on some basic things, getting the Academy upgrades, getting an engineering bay, so if mutas are the choice, he's going to be ready for them, but I don't even see that Spire started yet, despite the delays been finished for a decent amount of time now.
He's got a drone up here hanging out. It looks like he might be building something here. There it is. He's got a Spire coming. Okay. All right. Borisu sees it.
He's got his totally sees it. What a great scan. Having to guess the second one. There's always that 50-50s, like maybe they put it at the natural to try and fool me. But I'm still not really thrilled right now. You saw Pause. So many lings being made here. The drone count kind of suffered for that, slowed everything down. He's gonna have plenty of gas and larva built up for whenever that Spire does finish. But like, I feel like you're making this many lings, but you're not really getting anything done. Doesn't feel wonderful.
Yeah, he's. I was gonna say that would be a really bold move, running in there and trying to take that many Marines in that close a quarter. If he's got this many Zerglings, he's got to wait for Borisu to move out, and he's got to sandwich him if he can. He's saving up his minerals and his gas right now. Perfect, great job. That way you can do a muted dump when it comes. And right now you're just trying to keep tabs on the Terran, see what's going on. And he's doing a good job of that. A lot of links. He's really committing to the links, for sure. So hopefully he'll have a very ling-heavy mutilite army, which could work in certain circumstances, depending on what he wants to do with it.
Well, at least it's going to buy time for Paz to comfortably get that third base set up. With all these lanes in the map, it's hard for the Terran to actually feel comfortable moving out. But you can see decent amount of Marines being made, medics as well, the upgrades on the way. But here comes the mutas. But trust me, there's already turrets either being made or completed. I think Boris is well ready for this, especially after scanning and confirming what the tech is going to be. And he's actually he does another scan, trying to go at the front, see what the mutas are, but unfortunately just a little too early. Doesn't see that, like, everything got delayed a little bit, so Paz's delay on the Spire tech actually helping him out a little bit here, because he would have saw exactly how many mutas there was if things were more on time.
Yeah. Shout out to this nice turret place from Borisu. Nicely done. That's going to cover his main base quite well, and his natural very well too. So this +1 attack we're seeing from Paz is not going to do as much damage as he wants it to with that good turret coverage.
Well, the +1's never really going to affect for this point here where you're trying to go in. It just indicates to me that Paz is thinking, like, maybe I'm going to keep building mutas. I'm going to really keep putting this pressure on. But there's still like some windows of vulnerability. I think Paz could get some damage done if they're looking for it. And did a turret just get killed? Like, that wasn't from the Zerg. The turret in the middle line, the natural, I think just got killed, right? Or canceled.
Yeah.
This
is where your micro's got to be on point. But I think this is a little too much here. Borisu's got all his Marines camped out right in the mineral line. This is one Marine out in the middle of nowhere you could take out, though. This is a bold move right here.
Yeah, I mean, having a little bit of scouting info here. We see Paz trying to look around. Not a lot of mutas. I don't think they're going to get a lot of threat done. But the Queen's Nest completed now, so Hive Tech can get started whenever they're looking for it. And the Hydra Nest on the way, so you're going to be able to start moving into lurkers. But meanwhile, Borisu just make an army. They're going to make that terrifying, like, well, what if it's just dudes shooting your stuff? Like, do you have enough to survive the shooting? And it's going to be difficult here, but Paz building up that Mutaforce again, coming into the main on the left side, and seeing if he can find the window where there's only one turret down the bottom. There's definitely a spot where he can kind of go into this, but taking all the damage in just the worst position to be fighting these, but still getting a lot of damage done.
Yeah, he's taking some serious damage here. If he hides him in the bottom left, he should be good. He's just now he's going to decide to get out of there. I think that was a good decision. His +1 is 3/4 of the way done. I think if he wants to do another big round of mutas, he can, and he'll be able to engage Borisu with some hit and run tactics with those mutas. But Borisu's +1 is about to finish, and he's making some big moves here. It looks like he's moving out with all the Marines that he's got. So this is for marbles here. I think he's trying to end the game.
Well, he took a lot of SCV damage there, actually, from the committed fight. I thought that Paz wasn't going to keep fighting under 3 turrets like that, but stayed on and killed a lot of SCVs. So now Borisu, like he's got a lot less workers, but look at that army count, very similar. Like, so this army's definitely stronger for Borisu, and the upgrade's about to finish, like you're saying. So really, like Borisu looking like he might be able to find a good opportunity, but there's so many links already on the map established that it's like, no, I can find a good flank, I can get something done. And 3 Sunkens up at the front. I think when Borisu tries to fight this, it pauses on top of it. Like, this is going to be very easy to defend. Although we're going to find out now.
This is +1. He's moving in very, very aggressively here. Going to actually charge into these Sunkens. It looks like he's going to be able to take this. But I'd like to see these medics come up here, because otherwise, nice flank from both sides, too. Oh, this is nicely done, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Well, the mutas are coming back, too, as well. A lot of the force did get weakened up, but it was just Link, so now it's the mutas trying to help out here. But it's still stim, it's still +1. These Marines are still going to be hard to deal with here. But it's not the entire force, but force is still having enough muscle. The mutas they're getting weakened, they're getting killed, and they're eliminated entirely. So now it's just a bunch of dudes still there, and Paz not being able to defend this. I'm actually a little bit surprised how one-sided that looked.
Yeah, I think, Marines are scary. Marines with +1 are even scarier. And I think you're starting to see that. Without great engagements, it can be so hard to take a Terran army head on.
Hey, way back in the day, I played Zerg too. Trust me, you don't have to tell me that Marines are scary. I'm well aware that they're scary. Well, when they get all those upgrades and they stim, it's like, I got plenty of defense. This is gonna be fine. Just you watch it all explode. You're like, wait a second. Like, hold on.
You're like, okay, and you're gonna build those tier 1 units the whole game? Okay, that's intense.
Not exactly what we were looking for there for Paz. The idea was there though. Like, he had the link set up for the flank. He had the mutas. It wasn't quite enough muscle, which it sucks. I thought that was gonna like go well, but Borisu just showing the power of, I'll just go kill him.
Yeah, like take out my worker minerals. Like, I'll take out yours. I'm hoping for Protoss versus Terran here. Nice. Oh.
Well, despite your disappointment, I'm still gonna introduce the players. Is that cool? Like, we're cool with that? In the top right, in this navy blue, it's Dashley Knight, looking like that's the color they choose, and it's not a bad one. And then the bottom left, we got Paz in that green. So we're gonna see Dashley Knight trying again, which I wonder if he's gonna sneak the base again. That'd be hilarious. If like there's video evidence, like, no, you're one of those guys that sneak bases. That's so funny. Like, if that ends up what happening. But Paz, not like Nice Pants, doesn't look like they're willing to make the units early. They're willing to not go into this like insane StarCraft 2 looking, I'm gonna make all the drones kind of stuff. So I think we're gonna get a very different look on this game.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. They both have had consistent colors. I don't know what the greenish color. I'm not sure how to describe that exactly, but that seems to be Paz's color, and I like it.
It's like a military green, like a halo green, like the Master Chief color.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is in the list. Yeah, it's some weird one, but it's not bad. And we are seeing a difference in styles already. Paz again, 9 pool, no overpool. He's gonna make links. He's gonna get in the mix. He's putting pressure on. And when we saw Dashley in the first game, he went forward. He went gateway. It slowed down the cannons. I think 9 pool might do really big damage.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, there it is. It's going Forge Gateway again. It's going to shape up interestingly.
I'm just not in love with this, but one of the things about this particularly that I'm just not like, you see how the buildings are actually having to get made, right? That gateway has to be set back, so there's all this area between the egg and that gateway. Like, there's so many openings in this wall that Lakes can get there. It's going to be hard to actually plug it up to begin with. Yep. So, like, there's definitely an opportunity of a lot of lanes going out, and yeah, there's 3 lanes being morphed instantly, so Paz is going to take the early damage if he can get it. And Gateway's not even finished. Here comes a probe back down. Let's see if they start blindly making cannons, but 1 won't be enough, and especially 1 at the bottom. That's going to be easy to just run by and ignore completely. I'm worried.
Yeah.
I'm worried.
Yeah. Yeah, that cannon, it's a little far south. But maybe he was saving the space for an extra cannon. I don't know. I'll hope for the best. But these lings are on the way already, so with only 1 cannon not near the ramp, we could see a pretty hard run by here.
All right, Are they going the same way? Is he actually going to see it with the probe? He will. Oh no, he realizes it's panic time. And we'll see if the reaction is. I think here you might have to consider I gotta pull probes, I gotta try to block it up, because if you lose this initial cannon, you lose that first zealot, it's gonna be hard to deal with. But look at all this space, it's gonna be hard. The second cannon coming on, but it's not gonna get there in time, and just walking right by everything. 2 links getting to main could have been worse, so this isn't as bad, especially since the zealot's already made. So we'll see if CoZ can really micro this and get the real big value.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, really keep our Protoss player busy. These can be such a pain to have in your main as a Protoss player. It just requires slight attention every once in a while, but it just looks like the Zergling's getting low enough where it's actually going to get taken off by a probe. Oh man, is it?
It's close. Actually, pretty good defense there. The links got a little bit weakened, and actually had the probes fighting them, so he didn't take as big damage from that as possible. Which CoZ, that's pretty committed what they did at the beginning. Now starting to make that third hatchery. There's already one at the natural, but nothing getting mined from it. And I think if you're that kind of player going for the 9 pool, and you're trying to get the aggression on, I'm not expecting a Lair to be your first choice of gas, but we'll see what the decision will actually be after the fact. Needless to say, though, Dashling Knight very delayed in everything. You see Gateway's producing some zealots and stuff, actually making a cybernetic core in the main, but that Nexus has not gotten started yet.
Yeah. Yeah, we're actually seeing Zergling speed with that first 100 gas, which I suppose checks out. I mean, last game he was very, very Zergling heavy against our Terran player, so it wouldn't surprise me if he went very Zergling heavy this game too.
I like it. I like it though. Speedlings, especially if your opponent ever decides they try to poke out a move, you can really abuse that. Especially when you see a wall like this, that's there's openings everywhere. I can just run through some stuff if the Zealots ever move out.
Oh yeah, yeah. And following it up with this Hydralisk Den is so good, so good. So you're going to be able to put even more pressure on this wall.
Well, Nexus still not on the way. Robotics facility getting started, so. Hopefully this is going to be like that Star Sense, that big read. It's he knows the Hydra Den's on the way, which is nearing completion. No layer has been started yet, so if you got that Star Sense, you're I need to go Reavers. I just got a feeling, but from what we saw last game, I think it's just going to be for Observers, and it's just not going to work out as well. It's going to be difficult to make this work where you actually survive, or at the very least keep your economy going, because you can see even still, just this Nexus has been delayed forever. This is not what you want to do in this matchup.
This is reaching mind game levels of Nexus delay here. So, and he's going right into Citadel off of 1 gate. So maybe this is the fastest Templar drop we'll ever see. Who knows?
It's feeling like that. I gotta do something. I'm sneaking it by surprise, because the Overlord's not there, which the Overlord should be here. It should confirm there is no Nexus. But Pa's not sending one out, so doesn't actually see this. There's one a little bit far away, but he's not moving it forward. So Pa's just playing under the assumption, oh, you're playing normally, but this is still going to be one of those hard things. You put all this investment in this kind of cheeky move where it's oh, what if I do DT drop? What if I do something crazy? Well, you're delaying so much to get this going, and then Hydras just might kill you. Or if Hydras kill the shuttle, there's just tragedy that could happen all over the place here. Dashling Knight definitely in a spot, but he's at least trying to get something going that could get some big move done. But he's got to get that Temple Archive started if that's the plan.
Yeah, you're taking risks delaying that Nexus, and although it's up now, he's still going to have a window where you're not going to see the economic boosts to that for some time. So he's got 2 gates and some serious tech, and it looks like he's going right into Robo range or Goon range, excuse me, just like last game. So I think we're going to see another real Goon heavy game.
This is the kind of game I would actually love to see, the order the games are played in. Because I can have an idea of when everything got submitted, but it's if this was maybe the first PBC, and it's I tried this and just things just didn't look out good, and the second game was a little more refined. Seeing that evolution is definitely a cool step, or it can help you see oh, this is the path to help you improve. But for Dashling Knight, the biggest thing that I'm seeing with this is it's too much. It's all over the place. It's so much better with any of these kind of openings to be focused on what you're doing, because even at end of the day, it's the Nexus didn't get made long, but he cut probes for a long time too. So it's not there's a bunch of probes ready for this Nexus to make use of it. So he's still down in Like his army is okay, but it's like he's down on tech. He's down on like any kind of like trick stuff that's gonna get like that big move forward. He's down on economy. The Nexus was late. Like it's just not to be overly critical, but that's the one thing I would say for Dashlane Knights. Make your builds a little more focused. Whatever you want to do is cool, but just focus it up a little bit so everything runs smoother.
Yeah, having a clear sense of where you're trying to go tech-wise and what you're trying to do, and maintaining that within the chaos of the game can be very difficult, but I think that's a real defining feature of a good StarCraft player. So if you decide that you want a Templar drop, you can do that, certainly, but just commit to it, you know?
Yeah, it's like that'd be the kind of thing where it's like maybe not the Dragoon range, maybe less Dragoons, all these kind of things. But now we're seeing it's like it is a lot of Zealots, it's a lot of Dragoons. Like that range upgrade was there, and the +1's on the way now. So there's still like a lot of units here. So if Paz does overcommit trying to do this like Hydra brush and get something done, there might be an opportunity for these Dragoons to actually win this fight and kind of get Dashlane back in the game. But Paz has no reason to be aggressive here. He's up on drones. He took that third base. He's working towards that lurker tech, which is really going to slow down Dashlane from being able to move out comfortably. So we're still seeing a lot of poking down at the front, though. If he can take down this Forge before that upgrade finishes, not a lot of health on his left. He's looking for that opportunity.
Yeah, you know, he's got lurkers on the way too, so this can very easily transition into a contain if he wants it to. Regardless of the contain, though, Dastardly Knight's also got his observatory coming in. It's all set, so lurkers aren't as much of a threat. But this is a lot of goons again. Like he's going to be able to take this fight if he has all of his Protoss units engaged at once.
Yeah, a little unfortunate, like with the aggression we're seeing from Paz trying to put the pressure on, but both sides having no upgrades on the units particularly. So the Goons are still like a pretty decent unit. Like I said, like they're better than you think they'll be, especially in these kind of small engagements like this when you're fighting against stuff that isn't upgraded. So you can see that's actually a pretty decent defense from Dashlane Knight here. And Paz still building up the time to get that next base rolling, but I feel like if you knew it's like this attack isn't happening, I should wait for the lurkers or that like another wave of Hydras or something. Because it looked like it was an attack trying to get a lot of stuff done, but then the macro fell apart a little bit and kind of just throwing away some units that didn't do as much as as you would want them to. Is this weapon upgrade actually going to finish? Look how low health that Forge is. Like that's wild to me. It's this weapon upgrade actually finishes.
Yeah. Lurkers on the way, so this is going to transition nicely into probably quite a big attack here.
We're seeing
one way or the other.
Observatory done, observers on the way, and that range instead of the speed being researched here, so that'll help keep these a little bit safer. Still trying to poke forward a little bit with these Hydras. Maybe if they can whittle down their arm a little bit, you have a good opportunity to like really get the lurkers in a place to do some big damage. And these Dragoons having the bad pathing, not all of them engaged in the fight. A bunch of Hydras taking out a lot of them free early. And we're going to see it's so close where that Forge is going to get the finish, but I think it will. Wait, did it? It got killed like seconds before. That's so unfortunate. Pod's like just buzzer beater. He's waiting for the opportunity to make it as hype as possible.
just letting Dastardly Knight get his hopes up and then dashes him on the rocks. Nicely done.
That's the worst. That is the worst feeling.
That's morale crushing as a Protoss player. Though, you know, I think Dastardly Knight, the thing that really hurt him most in that entire engagement was just the Dragoons AI. They were all over the place. They weren't attacking. They were having a hard time.
Yeah, that's why when you get a little bit later on, you can kill that egg up the top. That'll give you a little more room to work with so that your goons aren't being all stupid. But you see some lurkers kind of going in. And actually, if they kill that pylon, like that can depower a lot of these buildings as well. But the cann's all taken down now. So detection definitely scarce. And there's some units being manned at the gateways. 6 gateways in the Protoss main, so lots of Dragoons on the way. But this is still a lot of Hydras already here, plus lurkers. This is going to be very hard to actually defend.
Yeah, he's moving in, man. He's right in the natural right now. He's taking everything out. Paz is looking really good, very aggressive. Only a few Dragoons here on the high ground, an observer or two, but this is a lot of Hydras.
I mean, this is just going to be hard to even move down the ramp. I think you at this point, like, you have to transfer probes. You're sacrificing stuff at the bottom. You're going to have to wait for more units up the top, but you send the goons down trying to fight. They can't take the fight. You're just losing the army. It's like, this is what's going to keep you from losing the game as they march up the ramp. You needed those Dragoons alive. Dashlane knows this game's out of hand, and calling a GG. Little unfortunate, but I mean, good. This is the kind of games like it sucks to play it, but it's a great replay to learn from. It's like, oh, I need to like there's these things. There's lots of things that could be happening. I need to be a little more prepared for them.
Yeah, certainly. Dastardly Knight's got a lot of good things going on. Just got to make a real solid decision and go with it. Nice game from Boz, though.
Absolutely. All right, so we're finally getting to Pro for Stern. It's finally here, I promise. I checked the races in there before I checked. I'm like, no, this one's it. I did order them in the way I wanted to cast them though, so it's like it lined up. It's finally here.
Okay.
So we can stop seeing Zerg be nonsense. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We don't do that here in CPL much. We try to contain it, but not really. But we're gonna see
equally.
No.
Except.
Just not Pros. Pros is the best. Speaking of Pros being the best, in the top right, we got the white Pros, Reef Ego, looking clean and crisp. He's bringing out those like the nice dress whites. He wants to really impress the opponent. And the bottom left, Borsu with that dark blue navy color, like trying to be super serious military. Whatever.
Yeah, looking very good. I think the white's a little more crisp, but the blue's got more of a casual feel to it that I can respect on a different level.
I don't know, dark blue, casual, like that feels like that feels like dress for a different kind of vacation. This is it's like summertime feel white, or it's like maybe I'm going to a Labor Day party, like ending the summer off properly, like having those good vibes. We're just trying to match the Christmas spirit, which the holidays did just wrap up. Got a little bit of downtime. How was your holidays, by the way?
It was quite good. I was completely unprepared for that question. I'm sorry. It came way out of left field for me. It was good. Yeah, how was yours?
It was acceptably fine. Now I'm a little bit concerned with how. Well, no, I don't want to get into any story. Fine, it was fine, but Borsu is trying to make things not fine. Look how fast this SUV is moving across the map, and this is I'm concerned. I'm concerned because this feels aggressive, like for scout timing. We'll see. Yeah. Is there going to be shenanigans, or is this just to make sure he's not getting proxyated?
Yeah, this is very early.
Well, he sees
the most anxious man in the world, or he's looking for some spicy builds here. Maybe a barracks or something in here.
That's definitely could be interesting. The barracks already been made at home, so I'm not sure what the plan is. Maybe just trying to make sure the scout gets in there, hide it before things get too crazy. Because if you weren't really paying a lot of attention for Ego, I think you might not have noticed the SUV got in. But never mind. I don't know what Boris is doing. Like he's got his own plan going. But Reef Ego doing the totally standard thing. There's a gateway. There's a gas. There's gonna be cyber core soon. We'll see if he does opt for that first zealot. Certainly does not going for cyber core first. So. It's looking very standard from our Pro S player. And we got barracks, we got gas, so both players not doing anything too weird. But Borsu keeps hiding his SCV. I'm like fascinated if he's trying to like do something crazy.
Yeah, I wonder what he's doing with that. Maybe put it in the corner so he can focus back on his base again.
I mean that's actually fair. I do that a lot because I'm super bad at keeping my scouts alive. Because you just hope, like, if my opponent forgets about it. If he just forgets about it, I can come in and, like, see the tech at the perfect time.
I mean, we've all had that moment where, we're 7-8 minutes into the match, and suddenly there's a scout in our base, and we're like, what's up with this? Like, and then you look at the replay, and he's been sitting there for 5 minutes in the dark. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely, but we're seeing a factory on the way, and the guy's not getting pulled from gas. That's something, if for higher level play, you can read into. It's like if you're really trying to optimize your build, you would keep the guys in gas if you want to get a second factory or trying to get starport, some kind of tech. Probe trying to get in the base, but 2 Marines are going to be able to stop that, while the SUV is going back in, seeing it does not see a second gateway. And that's like a pretty important thing here, that you are not like, oh, it's definitely big Dragoon pressure or some crazy nonsense. Being able to be comfortable that's not happening. And since that probe didn't get in the base, a second factory on the way, this is the true winning spirit of a Terran player who you play pros for Terran. I get it.
Yeah, the 2 fact is that's a pretty legendary move. Oh, that's so good.
It's a jerk move. The second gateway does go down for Reef, so that's actually very fortunate opting in for this build. It was a little bit more of an economic, so it wasn't like 10-15. I'm really putting the pressure on, but getting that second gateway is going to make sure he has the unit count he needs to defend against something like a 2-fact. But it's important to not lose any units for free, and it's important to kind of sniff out that this is coming. So we'll see what the move's gonna be from Reef if he does feel this out properly.
Yeah, these sort of engagements with the 2-fac really come down a lot to the micro of the Dragoons and buying yourself enough time to stutter step, to do damage without taking damage. So we'll see. Double machine shot from Borisu. This is. I'm chuckling to myself internally because, of course, this is what Borisu did.
Well, this is looking to be a very strong early push. Lots of Marines getting made. You can see like they're still like in production. Machine shops are there to produce tanks, but the upgrades aren't there. So really just wants to like make sure it's like handful of tanks, handful of Marines move across the map, really try to put the pressure on. Which you can see like right now, Reef's got what, 3 Dragoons? They're up at the front, so they might be able to kite this out and see it, like get an idea. But it's so easy to accidentally lose these goons. Like if you take one step too much trying to poke down the units. And with the robotics on the way looking like going to reservists, that's not a lot of raw power. SV trying to move out and see what's going on while Borisu just kind of building units. And actually, it looks like they are finally getting an upgrade going into siege mode instead. So I'm not sure what this move is going to be, but it still feels like if Borisu wants to move out, this could do really critical damage.
Here. This is a beef train. He's going to be able to blow through everything here.
Oh man, the Dragoon's very far forward. One getting incredibly weak and actually getting taken out. That's not what you need right now. You can't be afford to be losing units. Another one, like trying to take this fight straight up. This is exactly how you lose these kind of games. You kite the best you can, but do not like lose units to try to fight straight up, because when you're fighting into a couple tanks and a handful of Marines like this, a couple goons is never going to get the job done.
Oh yeah, yeah. You got all these Marines to just soak up damage. You got these tanks to dish it out. Very difficult to deal with.
And I think we saw Reef starting in next is actually canceled it and realizing there's no way he's ever going to hold us. So smart to know, like, I got to cancel this, I got to get something done. Immediately throwing down another gateway. So going to try to slow down Terran push, like, up at the top of his ramp. Actually hiding these goons off to the side, maybe for a counterattack, maybe to stop reinforcements. But the Observer coming out here, so there's not a lot of fighting units. We're going to see if Reef can actually survive this. Borisu very committed to his push, not expanding behind it or anything. We're actually seeing the robotic support bay on the way, so Reavers might be the move. Some goons trying to move forward, but still so much things here. More units getting killed for free. I'm not a betting man, but this does not look good for me. You know?
Yeah, if I had to take a wild stab in the dark, I think this might be over for Reef. Nice kill on the tank, but you still got a tank to go and a bunch of Marines. And I don't think this Reaver's going to arrive in time, unfortunately.
I don't think so. Probe's getting pulled. Seed mode's completed too, so it's going to be so bad to actually try to engage your way too. The Marine's going to buy so much time. And you can see this, just Probe's going down mercilessly. And Reef tapping out. Borisu, the winning spirit of a Terran player. Just make tanks, 2-fac, push. Love it.
Oh yeah. A classic maneuver.
Classic maneuver.
When in doubt, 2-fac it out.
I feel like you can say that for so many builds in this game, but
Yeah,
like you were talking.
2-gate.
I mean, you were talking about with Borisu before. It's like, I don't know, like he could just BBS you. He could play normal. He can go big macro games. Like no, like he could just do stuff like that too.
Just never know.
You just
He's an
never
enigma.
know.
Is this another TVP?
It
What are we
is.
thinking here? Or are you going to throw me a curveball?
No, this is another TVP. So we're seeing Borisu back at it again, but he's gonna be hitting our other Pross player in the top right. I swear I didn't look at this replay. I'm like, I'm just gonna lead it and say top right hope, and he was yes. In the top right, Stash of the Night, picking a nice vibrant red. Borisu stealing the navy blue color, so maybe a little tilting there. It's like I can't play my color. And the bottom left, Borisu still in that navy blue. With the eyes of a killer that goes 2-fac on the clips, so we'll see if that's gonna be the move again. Is that like is that the pre-planned like TVP build for him, or is this does he just like roll a dice and be like, this one?
Yeah. Is he going to double down on the 2-fac and say, I won with it once already. Why not again?
I would.
Dastardly Knight does with this.
I mean, honestly, I would really think that's the good move, because you saw how effective it was there. And you saw like one of the big problems that you see from Protoss players at this low level, because like tier 2 players do it a lot too. So it's not even just like the really low level for CPL. It's when you face like an FD or like a 2-fac or any of these kind of early pushes, and where it's like, what's really going to help you survive is slowing down the push, microing your Dragoons, maybe taking some free damage, but just slowing things down, buying more time for production cycles. It's easy to lose those Dragoons real fast, and you see exactly how out of control it gets if you lose the first couple.
Oh, certainly. And playing with the Dragoons AI especially is kind of a difficult dance occasionally. So, coming down to delaying that as long as you can so you can get a fair number of Dragoons is always the way to deal with it. And this scouting out of Borisu is a little more standard than last game. Did it right after his supply depot as opposed to like at 9, which I think was the first one he did.
That's still, it is an early scout though. Once just make sure it gets to the Pro's base, confirm, not proxy gates, not Nexus first. So, like that knowledge alone, like after that, doesn't even matter what you see. But if you can just confirm that little bit alone, that can make it so much easier to try to get into a comfortable normal game. And that's what you're seeing right now. Gateway, gas, just comfortable and normal.
Yeah, Borisu looks like he's coming up here like, I think this Protoss player is playing pretty standard.
I'd better 2-fac.
Probably. Like, I feel like, so, I don't know if you feel this way, but it's like, I think for each race, there's a certain, like, type of player you are. It's like, I am a 2-hatch player or a 3-hatch player for ZVT, or like, I do 2 gates or I do 1 gate for, like, Protoss when they play against Terran. And I feel like there's one for Terran too. It's like, I 2-fact or I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. The 2-factors of the world. I can't see eye to eye with someone who does 2-fac. it's not my personality. I don't know what it's like. Even when I was playing Terran a long time ago, I was never into 2-facs. But Borisu, I mean, I'll take a gamble here and say he's going for a 2-fac.
Okay. What is making you saying, or are you just kind of taking a guess?
I'm taking a stab here.
I think that's fair.
No, this early Zealot's going to be helpful for Dastardly Knight. He's going to be able to get in here and confirm whatever it is Borisu's doing.
Yeah, so this is a different kind of build we're seeing from Dastardly Knight. Getting the early Zealot, so you can, if your opponent didn't wall correctly or didn't do the building placement, this Zealot might be able to get some damage done. And see, look, different build already. Bunker being made at the front.
Borisu, you son of a gun.
You son of a gun, but it does repel off this first Zealot, so that's not getting anything big done. And you see a factory being made. Guys are pulled out of gas, like I was mentioning. One of the indicators that it tends to be a early expand if you pull guys out of the gas after you start the first factory, just because you want to get the CC up a little bit faster. And this Dragoons finally has stopped his SV. Look how much damage got done on that assimilator. Like, I don't think that's ever going to actually get killed, but that was comically close. Like,
nearly half the health is gone.
And a very different look that we're saying, that instead of like 2 gateways to get in these Dragoons or anything, both players instead, they're actually both expanding. But here comes that second factory instead. Like, I thought it was gonna be, but maybe after seeing the lack of a second gateway, Borisu going, I think I can kill him, let's go for it. And so this is an early Nexus going up here. We only have 1 gateway on the way, and actually a second gas being built pretty fast too, so this might be hard to actually have the units to do this, to survive this push. But Borisu looking like they're on a path to doing a similar build, but they're not building as many Marines, so I'm not sure. I should stop predicting what this guy does. He's a maniac sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. We might see a bio switch at some point. Who knows? But I think we're going to see some pretty heavy factory units here. He's really almost completely done with Marines for the most part. We're going to see an expansion coming from Borisu pretty quickly here. But I'm very interested to see how Dastardly Knight does against Terrans. He kind of played a little overly conservative with a lot of his builds versus Zerg. So I'm going to be very fascinated to see if he brings that same style of play and that same style of conservatism here over against Terrans.
I'm expecting it's actually going to go better, because if you remember the way we were actually watching the games of what he was building, hey, look, he built the units that you would see more in Protoss vs. Terran or Protoss vs. Protoss. A lot of Dragoons, a lot of like fast observers and all this kind of stuff. But Borisu taking the SCV, took the scenic route up around the left side, gets an SCV in the base to see like, where's the tech? No Robo, no Templar tech, saw the Nexus, so it has a real idea of what's going on, and we'll see if Borisu is going to make the decision. Am I going for an attack here, or am I trying to expand? But with 3 tanks made and some Marines, I'm thinking maybe an attack.
I say Borisu moves out with the Marines, attacks the Protoss player, draws his attention, then starts attacking the assimilator. That's the move to do here right now. Oh wow, he's actually just going to go out.
Well, it's a very similar look to what we saw before, but this is already having a little bit of a different look to it because that it wasn't Dragoons getting caught immediately in a move out. You can see Dashley Knight trying to do the proper thing, using the high ground to his advantage, not go too far forward. One Dragoon, I think, got rallied a little too far, though, getting taken out. So he's not losing too many units for free. That Zeal is not going to be super helpful in this situation. So saving a lot of Dragoons, but he's not doing the other thing I was really mentioning, is that you got to slow this down. Buy yourself more time for your gateways to build more units, which he's trying to, but he's not going great. But Boris not charging across the map, actually taking the expansion behind it, making sure that he's not committed to having to kill the Proj right here.
Yeah, it's an interesting, very early +1 from Dastardly Knight. That's not something I normally see. How do you feel about this?
I'm not sure, honestly. That SCV that's in the Pros main, though, is in the Ruse spot. Because in that top right corner, your score is, like your minerals and stuff are going to cover that up, make it impossible to see. So that's just the Ruse kind of placement. Borisu electing to not really go super hard on this attack just yet. But we are seeing Dashley Knight, I think, in Artosis viewer, because he's going for robotics and Citadel of Adun. So I would love to see if that lines up for a nice little Templar drop, considering that we're not seeing a rush to that third Nexus or anything. So it might just be observers. I might be reading into it, but I love seeing DT drops in this matchup, so I'm always hoping for it.
Oh yeah, yeah. The elusive double DT shuttle drop is awesome. Awesome. He's kind of Boris, who's just kind of hanging out in front of Dastardly's base here. No siege mode yet, so I'm kind of wondering if this is that's kind of an interesting maneuver here, a little bit dangerous, and I think these goons could take this fight, but that's a fair number of tanks right there, actually.
Well, siege mode is nearing completion as well, and Spider Mine's are on the way as well, so I'm hoping to see some vultures actually kind of move forward and help reinforce his board so we can really get the pressure on there.
Oh, he's just gonna siege up. Oh my goodness.
Templar Archives being started, so looking like we might get our wish, but this big siege up, lots of things getting siege right in front of these Dragoons. They're trying to move forward, but they're hitting the Marines instead of the tanks immediately. Big losses from both sides, but those two tanks in the back doing the work really needed to slow us down. I feel like both sides are going to take a lot of losses here, which honestly, Dashley Knight probably feeling comfortable about after starting that third base up at the top and actually trying to go into Templar Tech as well.
Yeah, I mean, he just traded away a fair number of Dragoons, but there are no tanks left, and that's always going to be in the Protoss' favor. Even though you've got a couple of vultures here, that was a good trade, I think.
Yeah, definitely good, but the macro falling apart a little bit during the fight. One of the things that lower level players definitely have to make sure they're doing is you have to macro while you're doing these fights. You can't be like, I won the fight and come back. It's like, I didn't make any units, so you can't survive the second wave. Always one of those things you really want to try to work on. The Templar Archives finished, but we're not seeing anything being made from it yet, whether it be any kind of Templar attack, whether it be Storm, or whether it just be on the path to Arbiters. But that third X is being established. Pylon's walling it off, so it's going to be hard to actually push that up. But Boris seems to have no interest there, wants to keep trying to push into the natural.
Yeah, and it's a nice minefield here. Do we have an observatory going down? It doesn't look like it. Okay, so he's going to be kind of stuck in this base for a little while, which leaves Borisu actually free to take a third base if he so wanted.
The SCV is already up in that 9 o'clock position, looking like they want to take it, but just doesn't have quite the money yet. Dashley Knight does actually have a good amount of probes, though, given how this start was going. He built a lot of tech buildings. I was expecting some of the things to get cut a little bit, but a couple more tanks are here sieged up, so not nearly the army we saw the last time from Dashley Knight, but the Zealot getting in the mix, both the tanks getting taken out, and without losing too many losses, Dashley Knight got to be feeling great about that one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, looking really good. Just this minefield, let's not bring any units towards there. That would be a little bad. But we've got a shuttle on the way. Excellent. A little bit of harassment if we want. Yeah, our +1 is done for Knight, so he's going for +2. Also, he's really been cruising on these upgrades.
Yeah, this is a very different look than what I was expecting here. Just getting the Templar Archives for the plus upgrades, that's more of a PvZ move. So Dashley Knight just having their own feel about what they want to do in the matchup that seems reasonably okay, though. Borisu taking the time to get their next expansion up on the 9 o'clock base. Keeps reinforcing stuff forward, trying to put things forward, but without any units in the way, it's some mines here. I don't think these tanks really can afford to push forward too much further. But we're seeing Zealous with legs completed and a decent ground army, so Boris gotta be careful. He's been taking some bad trades and can't keep doing it. Although in the top right in the main Dastardly Knight, what the hell is Boris doing? Oh, this guy is a maniac.
Oh my. That's an investment he made long ago, and now we're seeing the dividends here. Tossing a factory down? Oh, this is great.
I mean, that's definitely the kind of move that could really, like, if you don't see units back here, like, actually, if you look at the building placement, it's going to be hard to get units back there right away. Because the bottom of the minerals are walled off by Protoss buildings, so if a Vulture gets in there, it's going to be so hard to get to it. Like, this is actually hilarious. I think this has the opportunity to do some big damage. Although,
it's finished. Oh, man. Immediately building Vultures. Borisu was waiting for that factory to finish. And now maybe he's going to go to the other side and build another one in the top left part of the base.
I was like, please don't, Borisu. Although that's what he's trying to get out. Like, goons are moving up. I think things we're seeing, it's not going to be able to get too much damage done. We'll see if the Vulture can get anything. It looks like no. Borisu.
It's going to fly it out of here. Oh my goodness.
I don't think that really. I wonder if like Dashley actually saw it. He's like, you know what, finish it. Like, go ahead. I'm not gonna pretend I don't see it. I'm gonna let you finish it, and then I'm just gonna take the free victory or your money.
So good, so good.
That is comically hilarious. Although with all the things going on here, you still see Dastardly Knight with a probe lead. That Vulture didn't actually get any kills, or maybe got one at most. So the investment definitely did not pay off. Meanwhile, Dastardly Knight having a big economy set up at this third base. Although, like, given how things are, he's not really trying to move on the map. He's not trying to get that fourth base started. So I am a little bit worried for the long term, but right now his situation looks great.
Yeah, no, he's looking pretty good. I'd like to see a couple more factories from Borisu. Okay, we're throwing on one more, and this looks like it's going to be two more. Nice. Okay, cool. Because he's really, you got 3 full bases. He's got the income for it. He's still building SCVs, so I think he really should start ramping up the factory production and starting to match this pretty beefy army from Dastardly Knight here, who's got 3 great bases and a large number of look at all these pylons. He's spreading them all over the place, hoping for hoping to put another proxy factory.
I was looking around, like trying to find where the armories were before, so you put them at the natural. But you see, a movement from Dastardly Knight. There's a couple tanks, they're spread out, but there's a lot of units here, not really enough to slow this down. So Dastardly Knight gets out of his natural without too much issue. More tanks set back here up on the high ground. This is not the fight you really want to take. A lot of damage taken for free. Dastardly still out of the natural, has the opportunity to try to take a 4th base. Gonna keep trying to pressure this though. It's only tanks. There's no mines. There's no vultures. Nothing. And this is looking dangerous. Portland can't afford to keep bleeding units like this.
Yeah. You don't want to throw these tanks away. You know, he was getting great value from them because they were on the high ground, and you know, you were getting the missed chance from the Dragoons. But it was a good decision to pull them back. Get yourself another round of tanks. Get yourself some vultures. Get those meat shields coming forward, and you're going to be able to really make some more damage in the mid game.
Well, I was paying attention, like, right as that fight happened, Dastardly Knight cleared off all the stuff at the top, and 2 tanks managed to get away. And at that time, Borisu's supply was 49, like, total supply, but 45 SCVs. So, like, he literally lost basically his entire army with that little move out. So, Dastardly Knight not really trying to push forward, but this buying the opportunity needs, finally going up to the 11 o'clock base and taking a 4th.
Moving into Science Facility, I mean, because it's any other player, I'd be like, all right, we're going to see Science Vessels soon. But with Borisu, it's like, I don't know, I might see a Valkyrie or a Wraith, who knows, or a dropship. Nice.
Well, more realistically than anything, it was the +1/+1 weapons for everything got finished. So you need the Science Facility to get to the next level of those upgrades. That's more realistic, but you are right. Like, if he wanted to go Battle Cruisers or Ghosts or some wild stuff, I wouldn't be too surprised either. We're seeing Borisu try and scan around, see some things. See a very saturated 3rd and the start of a 4th, so gets an idea of exactly what Dastardly Knight's trying to do, but unfortunately just does not have the army to actually do anything about it.
Yeah. This is an interesting rally for his observers in the bottom right. Maybe he's got that star sense going on for the dropship that might move that way. Or it's just, he's just got a rally down there. Who knows?
I'm thinking maybe a little bit of the miss rally, like you accidentally clicked a little bit of the mini map, like that definitely happens sometimes. We're still seeing a lot of tech from Dashley Knight that he made it, but I have not actually seen the use from it too much. Like he's had the support bay, but hasn't upgraded shuttle speed. He hasn't gotten Reavers. We're seeing a Stargate finish with the temp arc already done, but I don't see the Arbiters on the way. So like it seems like his spot looks great. He's definitely doing a good job building a lot of things. Only just very recently kind of letting the macro slip, but losing focus a little bit of what the late game plan for Proj really is supposed to look like for a lot of the players. That you want one of these high power units. And finally, as I say that, he is starting Arbiter Tribunal, and he's also starting that Fleet Beacon. So he's just making sure the options are open.
Yeah, he's going for everything, whatever he wants, right? I really like how rounded out Boris's composition is. Early game, it was just like all tanks all the time, just pounding them out and losing them. I like that we're mixing in a lot of Goliaths. We got some Vultures, and we have a healthy amount of tanks. This is going to be a more successful push when he decides to go for it. I'm very pleased about this.
We'll have to see though. Like, there's a lot of observers on the map, but they're actually not controlling the vision for Dashley as well as you would think. Like, he's not seeing a whole lot of what you would be hoping to see right now with this many observers around. But there's plenty of army to protect that fourth base, so really making sure that investment does actually get online. And he's got plenty of army over in that high ground as well. So, like, he shouldn't be feeling under threat of anything, but I am just a little bit worried. Like, what if some speed vultures kind of sneak their way around, find that kind of window where you can navigate through? Because there's a lot of avenues to move around when you're talking about Eclipse. Although these observers are looking like they're going to see that SCV star in the fourth base, and Dashley is in position to really do something about that. Actually, two attempts at a fourth base, one on each side. I think Boris knowing, like, I'm definitely going to lose one of them, so let's try to.
Yeah. Interesting choice. But Dastardly Knight just very quickly, which is nice. But there's a push here in the middle that Boris is going for. So Dastardly Knight, you're not really going to want to engage with this, but he should probably think about slowing this down if he can and really starting to slow down the push here. Because this is a 1-1 push. You've got 2-2 on the way. This can get really, really out of hand real fast.
Well, he's got the armies in a great position. Tons of the high ground that would be directly between Borisu and the natural. And he's got so much at that attempt at the fourth on the left side for Borisu. So he's got a really good flank opportunity and actually just finished the +3 upgrades. So these Protoss upgrades very strong. So even though not really the tech units that you'd be looking for or any of that kind of stuff here, definitely it's looking like he's in a good position to fight this if he wants to go for it. But has to be careful how to engage a bunch of siege tank like this.
Yeah. Looks like he's moving in from both sides, which could be a good move. These are some pretty naked siege tanks up here, especially on the right. He's got to be careful here. He's got to get a good spread on those zealots. Nice engagement, but you don't want to lose too much if you can help it.
Yeah, there's just so many tanks here. This is the kind of thing that it feels like I've been ahead all game. How did I lose this fight? But tanks are just so strong, especially once they start getting upgrades. Eventually, it's going to be enough. Borisu cleans up that fight pretty good. A big supply lead from Dashley Knight. Kind of thrown away. Resets some of the tank count a little bit, but that's not really the way you want to be trying to abuse when you're playing against someone that's going like, it's a lot of tanks. It's not vultures. It's not other weird stuff. It's just tanks. Like, they're immobile. Like you want to wait for stasis. You want to recall to force them to move out of position. You want to be doing some of these kind of things. Or even that opportunity, like, he's got this observer down here. He could have just killed this fourth base from Borisu and kept him on 3. Force him to make the move.
Yeah, Dastardly's got great upgrades. I had mentioned that earlier in the game, and he's at 3-2 right now. He's looking pretty good, and he's getting his 3rd armor upgrade right now. I mean, for what it's worth, like, his Dragoons are tougher than most players at this point. So very nice in that regard, and you'll note, like, he has a tremendous number of Dragoons right at his national. So he traded, I think, quite well with Borisu in that fight. He took down a lot of tanks. For not a tremendous amount of units. That could have gone very badly for him had he mismicroed, but I think that was a good choice. This next one's going to be a little more dynamic, I think, because you've got 2-2 coming from Borisu. He's got a fair number of tanks, not as many as before, but now he's getting his fourth base attacked, so he's going to have to defend that. So it's going to be interesting to see what choices are made from here.
There's a lot of stuff in Boris to kind of get moved out of position to clean up a couple zealots. This could have been an opportunity for Dashley Knight to take his main force and try to move across, re-engage on Borisu while he's a little bit out of position. You see everything, like there's some stuff siege, but like as long as you got the zealots, which actually Dashley Knight's just very Dragoon heavy, it's gonna make it hard to actually engage on these things without like using a drop, using a stasis, and these kind of things. So Borisu does defend that 4th base, it just lifts it off against the zealots, isn't gonna really be in too much trouble, but buys time for Dashley Knight, gets that upper left base established, which has 2 gases. That's one of those great things you want as a Protoss here. It's just gas is all your fun tech units, the things you really need.
Yeah. Now, Arbiter's out. Stasis is being researched, and I believe that recall is already done. So recall is an option if he wants it, and especially with this naked 3rd base from Borisu, no towers, no units, no mines, no nothing, that would be a great spot to hit either up the ramp or you can recall, whichever your flavor is.
I'll have to see what the move is. It feels, it does feel like Dashley Knight just a little bit concerned about having a big fight like he had before, and like not losing things in a really silly way. Because unlike like a map like Circuit Breakers or Fighting Spear, where you got 2 mains of space, you can just load up on gateways. You can see, even like this late in the game, it's not a giant amount of gateways. Remaxing if you lose one fight really badly, not quite as easy to do as before. But still, the pros being transferred across, the economics for Dashley Knight looking good. As long as you can kind of keep Borisu's economy under control, because you can see he's kind of starving for gas too.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got to keep this tank count down, which he's been doing a very good job of, despite the fact that there's a ton of tanks at Borisu's natural. Look at that. But this main siege force up here is kind of alone. I think it'd be a great move if he came in here and tried to take this out. Where is his Arbiter? There it is. Oh, so unfortunate. A failed recall. That would have been great, but his Arbiter got taken out due to all those turrets. So great move by Borisu.
I totally missed that, man. You gotta guide my eyes a little bit. I'm trying to look for all this stuff, and
bottom right, yeah. Trust me, I was like, oh, like talking about the number of tanks, and I was like, oh my god, like, where's this Arbiter at? But you got that DD drop you were looking for. Here we go, right in the middle.
I mean, this is definitely the kind of thing. There's no vision here, no mines in the way. Actually, mines in the way would actually be wonderful here to like just drop on this. But this is going to be enough. But one of the big things that you like about dropping zealots, like DTs, they're invisible, they're going to help you out. But if you drop zealots, it draws the fire, so you actually do splash damage to the tanks and actually make sure you're getting some damage done.
Certainly. Oh man, is he going to get these out? Okay, he's got 2 out. That's not too bad. But they're not going to do very much. He does take out 1 tank. But look at these, the tremendous number of tanks over here right at his 3rd base. Just hanging out.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to actually like figure out how you're gonna move into this. And you see Dashley Knight actually adding on a 2nd Stargate, starting his air upgrades as well. So looking like the plan's gonna be maybe force him away from tanks by eventually going to carriers. But I'm just worried about this fight you're going to take to actually make this happen, because if you look at Dashley's forces, he's got a big group in the middle on the high ground. He's got a big group up by his 4th base, but it's like 95% Dragoons. That's the kind of thing you don't want to engage in the tanks to. You'll die before you get there.
Yeah, and with those 3/3 tanks, you are going to just get melted. And that's so many tanks. So really, I think the switch into possible carriers is a really good one. But you got to hold on long enough for you to get a critical mass of carriers to start with. So he's really going to have to take some good fights where he can, delay Borisu until he gets that air armada that will be able to take the game even further and really give him a better hope of winning the game. Because this ground army from Borisu is almost maxed out at 3/3, and that sort of mech army is nearly unstoppable.
Yeah, well, meanwhile, Dashley has a giant bank, but like I was saying, not a lot of like gateways. So if he loses the army, you know, like a big fight, he'll have the money to remake it, but he isn't gonna have the army to remake it fast, just because he doesn't have the infrastructure to actually do it. He needs to be very careful about however this does get engaged. And looking like the plan isn't to actually attack, just try to slow things down, make sure Borisu doesn't get another expansion. While it looks like he's trying to set up the next expansion for himself over in the bottom right.
All right, let's talk about the next classic Borisu move. As 4th base, we see a nuclear silo going down, and he just finished up personal cloaking for his ghost.
All right, so I'm going to go look at that science facility. Yeah, it's covert ops. Of course it's covert ops.
Oh, yeah.
Borisu. I mean, when you're nearly maxed, I guess that's going to be a good way to shake things up, force your opponent to make a move. Because even like that could be just the window you need if you can time it well. It's like the nuke drops, you move your tanks up there, that can get you from the low ground to the high ground on this map that has so many like hills and variants. Maybe that's the plan. But here comes Dashlane trying to move forward. I think seeing what I was talking about, it's like if you find an opportunity to get some damage done, but if you can also trade away some of your units so you can start making carriers, not the end of the world.
Yeah.
So this is actually a pretty good fight. Taking out all these tanks, not too much issue. And Borsu's got to decide like where they want to go. It looks like they're actually trying to fight this on both fronts, but not as confident about going from the 4th base. I like this situation from the back, but it's still so many siege tanks, and it's just Dragoons. You see how fast they explode. That's exactly what I was talking about.
Oh, just goon soup for days. Yeah, that's a liquefied army right there. I really like that Dastardly Knight, when he decides to take a fight, he usually takes it from 2 angles. I think that's a great thing to do. And that's a skill you want to continue to develop, especially when you're playing against a Terran, because taking multiple angles, good angles on a Terran army, that's the way that you trade efficiently. So I like where his head is at, but just a little too Dragoon heavy.
And now honestly, not even a little, like very Dragoon heavy. There was no stasis to help out with it. There was no just zealots from a shuttle, so you can get things out of position. If you're gonna try to fight this kind of army head on, it's very difficult. You gotta be careful about how do you engage these. But really, end of the day, don't fight that army head on. That is not the way you want to fight an army that's entirely tanks. But yeah,
I was a little soft in my language, I'll admit.
I mean, there's a lot
of Dragoon heavy,
Well, you see that the supply did get knocked down, so this is the opportunity to start making carriers. But Dastardly Knight not actually doing that. Stay on the ground army. A lot of these tanks getting sieged up in top left. This upper left base a little bit under siege, as he was just trying to add on more gateways and trying to survive this. But this is going to be such a hard position to actually attack. I don't know if Dastardly Knight should really even try to defend this heavily. It's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, especially with the ghosts coming up here. Oh boy. I think we might see a nuke here.
Man. Yep, right there. It's there.
Oh man, he's going for the EMP too. That's a Boxer classic. Nice.
That is a retro move. Oh man.
Nice.
Big move. That did so.
Talk about dial points. Oh my goodness.
So that's for Dashley. That's not the way you want to do that. I was worried about don't try to take this fight to the siege tanks, but the fact that this ghost kind of waltzed up there, no opposition, he killed the Nexus, but killed so many probes, and Dastardly Knight's supply actually fell by a tremendous amount through that because he got some of the tanks too. The tanks moving forward, trying to fight these goons, but the high ground advantage, the goons really can't afford to fight this. Just these siege tanks ripping everything apart. Beautiful D-Matrix to make sure that front tank doesn't get taken down. And Borsu just took a very convincing fight. I'm very worried for Dastardly Knight at this point. That game was so good early on for a long time, but not knowing how to close it out against siege tanks, Dastardly Knight in trouble now.
Yeah, nice move on the Zealots, but you only got one here left, so I like that he's mixing in more Zealots now. That's good. And he's got another round coming in to really mix it up and to have a healthy balance with these Dragoons over here. And he does have those 2 Arbiters that are out right now. So that's good. You're going to need those for the stasis and for the possibility of a recall.
I just, still, the way we've been watching this game unfold, and actually, look at Borsu now, finally diverting the build. Lots of Vultures, lots of Goliaths, anticipating, a switch away from the style that Dastardly was going for. Thinking, oh, I'll beat you to the punch. If you're going carriers, I'm ready, but we're not seeing that from Dastardly Knight at all. He's not even attempting. And we're actually, Borsu, with his scouting eBay over on the right side, sees the next main target to kill for Dastardly Knight. If he can take out this base over in the bottom right, you're going to put Dastardly Knight on 1 base of income. He has a big bank, but that will not last forever. Has to be very careful from moving from here on out.
Nuke number 2 is on the way, nearly done.
Oh, in production, right? In production? You can't say these words without,
In production, yeah. Being built currently. They're putting together the uranium head. I don't know if he has any ghosts on the map, though. That's really the biggest thing.
That's hard to tell. Dastardly Knight tried to get a little bit of an attack going over at Borsu's 4th base down the corner. They ain't going to get through those tanks while Borsu really moving forward. That Nexus got remade just recently, but ain't going to be enough. There's no units here to actually defend this. Borsu going to be able to clean this up pretty good. And it just went from a game that looked great for Dastardly Knight, good position, just got closed out, and Borsu kept the defense solid, got the upgrades needed, doing a good job with the macro. 200, max upgrades at 7K, 2K. I do not know how pros actually win this game anymore.
Yeah, you'd have to be a stasis god with some great recalls, and I think one of the biggest things is you got to take out this 5 o'clock base from Borisu. Even with that, but the bank is. I'm being positive here. This is a tough position for Protoss for sure. Very tough, especially because there's a nuke that's been finished and probably will be launched within the next 5 minutes of the game.
Seems that way. Lots of scans going down, getting that full idea for Borisu exactly what he's dealing with from his opponent. Now, Dashley Knight finally learned the lesson that Zealots are the kind of the answer to deal with stuff, but Borisu already adapted the build to not be entirely tanks, unfortunately. So Zealots are being made, trying to get Dashley Knight back in this big core ground army, but still, I feel like there's a point where you need to take some kind of move where it's going to have the action, and we're seeing a little bit of that now, some shuttles being moved, trying to get something done, but they still don't have any of those kind of big units. And a recall, though, different story. If you can get that into the base and shut down this economy, maybe that'll be the move, but I think production might be the target you really want to go for now, although we are seeing the big recall.
Nice. This is what I was talking about. You're going to get in here, destroy that base. Very well done, because now you can take that for yourself. Nice, dude. Nice.
And he kill the nuke. Kill the nuke.
I mean, I don't want you to get rid of the nuke for the entertainment factor, but to stay in the game, get rid of the nuke.
This is definitely going to hurt for Borisu. He doesn't want to lose his base, but like I said, he has such a big bank right now. You can see up at the top side, he's trading Dashley's 4th base for his. It's like, I think he'd be completely fine with that if he can get his way through. He's putting up the best fight they can, but Borisu's army up there is very stout. It's like, you set so much down to kill that one base. You did it, but what's the move from here? Because you've got to stop him from taking out this base. You just don't have enough income. You can't afford to be losing bases anymore.
Yeah, certainly. And this is where your arbiters really, the stasis really comes in handy. You know, free spells like that, you really need to start abusing them. But I believe he lost all his arbiters, so this is going to be have to be a straight up fight unit to unit, which is not probably going to go in his favor.
You can already see all the ground force before the shuttles get there to reinforce. They're all already taken out. And even though it's like, at this point, it wasn't like 20 tanks like before. It's just a couple in the background, but the vultures are helping out. The Goliaths are shutting down the shuttles. Some Zealots trying to get in, but it's just Borisu's army comps will be very hard to actually fight straight up like this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, once those bad boys are sieged up, it's going to be hard to get in there, especially once they got the high ground. And looks like, oh, dude, perfect mine out time. Perfect. He didn't get that last 8 minerals, but I think he fair it.
I mean, so it's not the end of the world to lose that base here, but now it's so important for Dashley Knight. He's got to keep that lower right base alive. And honestly, like, even though it's reduced to minerals, he should go for that one he just cleared out from Borisu, because Borisu's doing that to him, taking that upper left base. He nuked it, it's contaminated, he does not care. He's going to take those double gases for himself, and then Borisu's economy is just, it's going to get to the point where it's overwhelming. But Dashley Knight still has a good army down on the south side, can establish that next base. We're trying to get some pressure somewhere. He knows all that army's up in the north. This is the opportunity to try to force something to happen, but Dashley Knight taking his time, not overstepping right now.
Yeah, I like that he's returning to the Arbiters. Always a good choice. I think that stasis is going to come in really handy, but this is a beefy army down here, right in the center. I don't want to see him run in, don't get me wrong. If you can hear me, don't do it. But it's very, very strong. It looks tough. He's got a lot of really good zealots in there, and I think that's a healthier composition for sure. And we are seeing some carrier upgrades. So I think we might see a round of carriers after this, to these two arbiters.
Possibly. We're seeing Borisu made a dropship in his main, hasn't had a chance to use it yet, but Dashley Knight has to give up the football in the middle of the map. Like he has to realize that, like, this army is really scary. Even though, like, these bases don't have money anymore, I can't afford them to get in, stop my production, stop my reinforcements. So he has to try to take the fight to where he is. It looks like he's going to try to engage it, but he's not getting a good flank like he was getting before. A lot of units like trying to go forward, but the Zealots aren't at the front. This fight not going as well as I think it could have. Dashley Knight was a little more coordinated with it.
Yeah, normally he has better angles in this, and I think he has enough to take this out. But generally speaking, Dastardly Knight has better engages, and he usually comes from two sides. But this was good. This was good. This is what he needed to really give himself some space to breathe, to take this 5 o'clock base, to contest this top left, and this, oh man, what is that, 9 o'clock? There we go. Forget how to read a clock there every once in a while.
Yeah, it's hard when you're trying to remember all these things. Like, why can't they just have letters? Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. God, letters on a clock? Man, you're making it even harder for me now.
I mean, possibly. You don't have a square clock at home, though. You don't even, like, this isn't supposed to make sense to you. Dastardly Knight sends a probe down to Borsu's old 4th base, but Vulture's cleaning it up very quickly, making sure that's not getting established. Dastardly Knight taking the opportunity to move his army through the center. Hopefully he can cut off the reinforcements in the army away from that 4th base, see if he can get some damage done. But Borsu's army is still very intimidating. Dastardly Knight gotta be careful to not walk into a bad siege situation. And a couple units getting separated here. Not a big investment to try and clear out some of this stuff here.
Yeah, no. I'd love to see him cut those Dragoons across, skip all these tanks, take that high ground, take out that base at the 6 o'clock, and just, or excuse me, 9 o'clock, and just hang out on the high ground. He's got a huge advantage here, but he's just got to press up, take that base out, and he can take it for himself eventually. And bring some Arbiters over, please. You have them.
I mean, we're getting into the point of those games where it's like, anyone's had like a 30-minute game, 30-minute plus game. You can like look at replay and be like, man, I forgot all these things. I should have been doing this. But when you've been playing this game for this long, you know your mind is mush. You do not remember what's going on. You got to forget all these things. Like, remember carrier upgrades. We saw them get research. No carriers have been made. Like, they're not in production. Tons of money to do it, but have not been started yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's even got +1 attack and +3 air armor, so he's gearing up for the transition that doesn't look like it's ever going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a rough situation. You see, like, Dastardly Knight, when he's not actually mining, it's just that one base over in the corner. And that's, I mean, it's got a good amount of money left, but it ain't going to last forever. He's keep losing all these armies, although these fights are going a little more evenly now than what we saw before. Big recall in the top left, but it was just a couple SCVs in this one command center, so a big spell used here, but it's going to be able to shut down the base, but I don't know how essential that actually was.
There have been so many power swings in this match today. I mean, but the nuke obviously has been the real star of the show so far. But he's been doing good work with these Arbiters ever since.
Yeah, lots of scans from Borsu trying to fight underneath that Arbiter field, and you can see like he's trying to repel some of these Dragoons, managing to survive the fight. And this is where we're starting to see that Borsu, while he had this big army, lots of big upgrades, the fact that some of it's getting a little bit spread apart, that it's not all set up exactly the way he wants it to, he's starting to lose supply pretty heavily. And he's got lots of money, but it's like, you look at his main, there's a lot of factories, most of them not really doing anything. The base layout at this point in the game, hard to keep up on when everything's so spread apart. So Borsu, like, it felt like he was in a great spot. It felt like Dastardly was in a great spot too, but this is just going to be a battle of endurance to see which player really wants this win more, because I think both players are probably like, why am I still in this game at this point?
Yeah, this is the Starcraft marathon for sure. This is the mile 20 right now, where you're just exhausted. Borsu still has the clear mind to build turrets to fend off some of these Arbiters, but Dastardly Knight could take this base up here if he wanted to. I know there's tanks here on this high ground, but he's got to take another base somewhere. He's really only mining from this this one in the bottom right so far.
I mean, I think you should take the other one at the bottom right. It's the minerals are pretty worn down. They're not like exactly what you're looking for here, but it's better than nothing, and it pulls Borsu across another part of the map. But an Arbiter coming in, there's an observer trying to spot for it. See if you can sneak into the main with a nice recall, because if you can just actually shut down some of this production, that's probably going to be the best move you can actually do. See if that's actually puts the recall. He's putting it in the natural when there's no minerals, and by the armories that are already completely done researching. Not sure how much I love this, but still getting Borsu out of position. And the Arbiter actually abandoning this entirely. This is a lot of units lost for no gain. I did not like that recall. I don't think that was a good decision.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of it. But I'll tell you what I am a huge fan of. This nuclear silo that just got built up here.
Are you freaking kidding me? Borsu, please. What are you doing to us, man?
Down here. Nice. Nice.
A ghost is on the way as well, so Borsu's making sure he's ready. And while like it's memey and while it's like funny to think about, I actually don't mind it for especially this top left base that you see Darius tonight. He's keeping his stuff there. That seems to be the thing he wants to go for. Next is just getting started as I went on to this little like rant about it. But it looks like the plan's gonna be if he can establish that base and he could just do the move he did before. One good EMP, throw that nuke down, destroy everything. And especially at this point, like you can't afford to keep making nexuses, keep making probes. And if you can get some of the army in that too, because Dashley Knight really leaning up there trying to defend this base, like this just screams trouble if that nuke actually goes off.
Yeah, this has nuke written all over it. I would like to see an observer up here from Dastardly Knight. Bring one of those observers that's been hanging out in the bottom right for the last 40 minutes. Oh, that's an arbiter. Oh my goodness. Yeah, get one of these observers up here. Hedge your bets a little bit.
Yeah, definitely a rough spot. That arbiter, if it was nearby, like one good stasis could really help out with all these kind of things. And it's going to be so difficult to actually get this base online. I'm so worried that that nuke is going to be the critical move. Because look at how Dashley Knight's moving all of his army up there. They're all going to be clumped up. Even if you didn't even kill the Nexus at this point, if you can get that one.
Man. Bottom right. Bottom right. There it is.
Wait, it's in the bottom right? Why is it in the bottom right?
Because there's nothing there.
I don't even see the red dot. Oh, it's right in the middle. Oh, red color. Don't click red color against Warasu. He's going to abuse it.
Right on the Nexus.
Oh,
nice.
Come on. And the ghost valiantly sacrifices himself for the move. That's just another giant hit, though. Down to 11 probes for Dashley Knight. This Nexus finally got up, but look, not 400 minerals, not a lot of probes on the map anymore. If he loses this Nexus, that's got to spell the end, because like at that point, what are you going to do?
Yeah, these goons, this Nexus and this Arbiter, that's what he's got. Oh, he has a ton of Zealots over here, but I think they might stay over there for a little while. They're on vacation. Right. I like this position from Borisu, though. I mean, breaking a ramp with 5-3-3 tanks up top is a tall order.
Well, so actually, all those Zealots off to the side, that might be the move. You can recall directly on top of everything. That could be the way to make sure this top of the ramp isn't so bad. Like, you see this Arbiter kind of in position. There's no Goliaths here to actually protect it. This might be the move to actually get something done. Flying past some turrets, not taking very critical damage. Gets a recall off, lots of Zealots. Good choice by Dashley Knight. A good opportunity to try to get something to work here.
Nicely done.
But unfortunately, just too many vultures, too many tanks. The upgrades are too strong. Doesn't really get anything done. That's like trying to go up the ramp with Dragoons against tanks like this. This always spells disaster. This is never the plan you want to do. You can see immediately trying to back off. So it doesn't lose the base yet, but that recall lost a lot of units. And Warasu, I think he could just kind of slow play this and be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk too soon, but I think we might see another nuke here.
It's done. You're absolutely right. Do you see the ghost around though? It lost its life before. Like I know.
There it is. Science Vessel and the Ghost have been buddies all game today, and they're moving. He's moving up right now.
Oh jeez. There it is. You're absolutely right.
Adding insult to injury.
I mean, big EMP. It's gonna go out of Nexus. This is a perfect move from Borisu. There's got it. Like the observers are all the bottom side of the map. They need to detect this and stop this ghost, but it's just not going to be enough.
Oh, maybe it's going to splash. No, it's just.
Oh man.
Oh goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah. One last fateful attack.
I don't think it's going to be enough though. No money for a Nexus. No Nexus. It's not like a command center. You can't fly it somewhere new. Borisu making good use of like how powerful siege tanks are and these nukes to break open the defense. While Dashley Knight he had a great position early, just could not close the game. This is what happens against late game Terran. It's just so difficult. And Borisu's actually scanning around now just to confirm, like, you don't have a base, right? Like, we're good. Like, I got you. So he's making sure.
I've nuked you into submission. Are we good?
I mean, another one's on the way. I don't think there's ever nuked into submission. I don't think that's actually in the vocabulary.
Yeah. My goodness. Got 5 Dragoons down here in the center, 5 Zealots over here, and 10 probes, and that's it.
I mean, the story says it at the top, right? It's 36 to 150. a very good game indeed. Very long and drawn out, but both players playing that intelligently. There's opportunities. I thought both players were going to win that game at one point or another. So that is a wild one. And when I was like saying, it's like, hey, there's a long one. I wasn't expecting it to be a long one. That's cool. Like that was a lot cooler.
Yeah. That was great. Yeah. Me being like, oh boy, here we go, a long one. that was definitely worth it. That was excellent.
That was definitely fun, but we're gonna move away from that slow, grindy PvT. Like we're playing a macro game, we're slicing the map in half. We're gonna go straight into visceral fun, some Zerg versus Zerg. We're gonna speed the thing back up, get people back invested into the cast.
No nukes in ZVZ, unfortunately, but there is some fast Zergling attacks, so that's always good.
We'll have to see what the players want to do. In the top right, we got one of the Zergs in the blue, Nice Pants. And in the bottom left, in that weird military green that CoZ keeps picking, it's CoZ. Now, ZVZ, I love it. I don't, like, honestly, if I could race pick on the ladder, I wouldn't play PvZ. I'd play ZVZ instead. I really love it. What do you think of it?
That's a hot take. I like it.
Well, it's like, if I'm going to lose to Zerg anyway, I'd rather lose in 5 minutes. I'd
rather lose in under 7 minutes, okay?
Well, no, it's like you can go 9 pool and just be like, maybe I win.
Yeah, kind of. It feels like a coin flip sometimes in ZVZ. I will say, though, this is one of my favorite matchups. I think it's, if you win usually pretty quickly. If you lose, same story. And I very much like that a lot of the game comes down to 1 or 2 decisions and 1 or 2 choices that really can spell victory or defeat. I like that it's very edged like that. Most of the matches you have a lot of leeway. ZVZ, you really don't. You got to make good decisions. You got to have good micro, and when you don't, you usually just lose. And so it's nice to see. We'll see a 9 pool here out of CoZ. Always good.
All right, so I'm actually very intrigued by CoZ's opening here. And the openings are reflecting the players. Nice Pants go for that a little more economical. He went Overlord. He got a couple of drones, and then he went for this spawning pool a little bit late. CoZ going for 9 pool, which we saw in the other matchup, so why wouldn't he do it in this one? But this early drone, why is this in this base already? That is intriguing. Like, well, I don't think this is the matchup you do stuff like that because you just have so few drones. That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, other than assuming that it's a 12 pool from him, I'm not sure why you would want it. But he's got his lings coming out early, so his lings are going to arrive at that ramp about the same time that Nice Pants' lings are going to pop. So he's in an advantageous position here for sure. But I don't know. This is that like quintessential matchup, the 12 pool and the 9 pool.
It's definitely one of them, but Nice Pants, like, so this what looked a lot better for Nice Pants when it's just like, oh, it's a later pool, you make the lanes, you can block your ramp, you're fine. But when you go for the low ground hatchery too, that plan gets a lot more difficult to actually defend against 9 pool and all these early links. So we're going to see CoZ might be able to get some pretty big damage done, and using that fast pool to get into that fast layer, he's going to be on the win to get those early mute as well. Nice Pants really going for that economic, just going to have so many larvae to work with. It's going to come down to this first link fight, I think, to see who can get the advantage to actually start.
Yeah, it's interesting. Despite opening a little more economically, Nice Pants has less drones than CoZ does, and his tech is slower. So really, his main advantage here is going to be the larva.
Well, he also did get his sunken in the main, so there's a little bit of safety if the links do end up getting wide. CoZ getting that first engage, taking out 2 links for basically free, so CoZ going to be feeling comfortable right there, but remember that the defender's advantage, the reinforcements are going to come in so much sooner. The links are engaging, and CoZ actually getting a great concave, taking a big advantage there, and the hatchery does not get canceled. We're going to see if he wants to go in, but one link moving into the main, he's going to regret that. The guy gets killed for free, and now that link advantage turns into basically a link disadvantage, has to back off. Hatchery down to half health, but we'll see what the next move is going to be.
Yeah. See if this, I'm assuming we'll see a Spire, but yeah. So CoZ going really, really early tech. But again, Nice Pants has that huge larva advantage, and his speed is coming. So although he's down on the tech, he's going to be able to really outproduce and put a lot of pressure on CoZ with some Zerglings if he wants to. So CoZ doing a good job holding this ramp, though. That's such a key position.
Yeah, if you can make sure your opponent doesn't get in there. You can see the Spire already on the way in comparison for Nice Pants that he actually had to go Evo Chamber instead. Like, he's not going to get this. You can take a look at his base shortly, but right now we got to make sure that this Ling action, the way it's going. Pause, losing control of the ramp a little bit. Nice Pants getting way in. And the fights are going so razor close. The Mutas will be able to spawn reasonably soon. That Spire about halfway done. So Paz just needs to hold on for a little bit more. But Nice Pants keeps sending units over. Wants to try to take advantage while he can. But it looks like until he gets a couple more Lings on the way, not really the move.
Yeah.
Love this from Paz to come down now before reinforcements come to kill out those two and just try to take whatever little advantages he can. Paz has to save Larva here. Only has 2 Lings. This is a little bit dangerous. I'd actually start making a Sunken here. I'd get worried.
Yeah, especially when you know your opponent's got a lot of Larva. You know, there can be a huge Zergling dump whenever. And he doesn't have his Overlord over the base, so he's not exactly sure what Nice Pants is doing. Even though Pants is actually just doing... Oh, nice Zergling engage too, by the way. So even though Pants is going Evos to kind of fend off any sort of early mutas, which are coming out basically right now.
Yeah, I'm a little bit.
Air attack.
Yeah, it's a little bit the cheaper upgrade, right? I think the armor is better for the air fights, but like we're not seeing any attempt from Nice Pants to actually build into the air units. So maybe you want the air attack so you can kill the Lings faster.
Maybe it's an interesting maneuver.
Nice Pants did not forget to go into Aspire. There's no lair yet. He realized he was 2 behind on the Muta fight and actually just went for Evo Chamber. He's gonna go into Lings instead, really lean into that advantage rather than trying to combat the air. And he's just not gonna be able to do it right now.
Yeah, certainly. Nice Pants, Overlord, supply blocked. But he's pretty safe here. I mean, Spores are crazy strong. They do so much damage so quickly. I think you need 6 or 7. Yeah, I think you need 6 mutas at the least to take out 1 Spore.
At least until you get that air upgrade, I wouldn't even really try to look around. See if you can find an opportunity where it's like, oh, here's a little bit of a window where I can try to get some damage done. And almost had a chance to trying to take down a drone or 2, but lose a Mutalist taking a lot of damage, so needs to be careful. Paz back at home though, making his first expansion on his own. Has the Lair Tech on the way, so like his situation is not looking that as bad, but you look at Nice Pants, despite the fact there's no Lair Tech, lots of drones, static defense already here, so the air moves out on the map. Like he doesn't have to worry about getting counterattacked and just losing everything immediately. But there is eventually going to be that plan where it's like for both players, what do you do to break this open? Where it's like there's so much static defense and Nice Pants can't assume it's like, oh, if I go across, I'm going to be able to kill him because there's mutas. Like Lings and mutas, that's a one-sided affair. Like it doesn't get better.
Yeah, I mean, Pants has got a lot of gas banked up, which is good, but his tech has been kind of slow. So it's nice to see him really throw down that layer now. So he's going to be able to transition into Mutalisk, even though Paz has this Mutalisk advantage. And honestly, if Paz continues down this route, he can have a Mutalisk advantage in numbers for almost as long as he wants, despite being down half of workers. You know, Nice Pants has 24 workers to Paz's 11.
I am genuinely concerned though. Lots of gas being banked that seemed like it might have been a problem, but if he does ever get to that Spire, he's already secured the second base. He's got the extractor on the way now, and lots of drones available. So whenever Nice Pants gets that Spire finish, he's going to be able to swell up really big with a lot of mutas, or lean into the larva advantage he's had, and actually maybe burn some of that gas on Scourge just to slow down the muta fight so he can catch up.
Yeah, true. Very true. Paz is doing a good job though here. Taking his natural, droning up a little bit. He's got the time. He knows he's not going to be attacked by any mutas anytime soon because he knows there's no Spire. I think that was a good decision.
Yeah, Nice Pants with that such a big drone advantage. He doesn't even feel bad about it. It's like, I'll just keep making static defense. It doesn't matter to me. It's a drop in the bucket compared to how many I have compared to you. Paz using this opportunity though. He's not really adding on more drones, but actually adding on a 3rd macro hatchery just to get that extra larva. So love that move. That's going to be pretty useful later. I would love to actually see a switch to a giant swell of Lings, and that's like you already have the mutas here. They already got the upgrades. But I would love to see a ton of Lings move out. That way they can actually kind of work on these spore colonies, so that way you can actually move in further.
Yeah.
This hatchery location from Nice Pants, that is the ultimate. I hope this never gets found hatchery.
Yeah. This is consistent though. Pants has been kind of bold with the proxy hatches against the early Protoss player, and now another sneaky hatch. Awesome job moving in with these lings against this lone sunken. Really well done.
Yeah, second one on the way though. But he's trying to go in and actually kill some of the drones while he's got the opportunity. They kill a drone so quickly, so I love this decision actually. He's going to be able to even up this count a little bit. But Nice Pants has their own plan in mind, still making a bunch of static defense. But instead of, they got the Spire done, but it does look like they're actually building a Hydra den so they can make that as well. So that way you can really go into that big turtle style. I think a part of the gameplay might be, I don't think he's going to find this third base. Because who does this in ZVZ? Who takes the third base to begin with?
Yeah, but just, that's, you lose 3 drones in your line. In most ZVZs, I mean, that spells disaster. And it's just a matter of time before you lose. But that's kind of a drop in the bucket for Nice Pants here. He's still rolling at 20 drones, even after all this time. Nice move out with these lings, although it gets caught. I think the idea was really good.
I don't know. Paz got a big counterattack of Lings going along here. I don't think the Lings from Nice Pants are getting anything done, but Paz has an opportunity, I think, that if you wanted to try and run into the base, get some damage done. A couple of Lings from Nice Pants do get into the base. There's a couple Lings here, but there's no static defense. It needs to be careful, but fortunately Paz has just enough to actually clean that up. Now, I don't know, like, I've seen a decent amount of ZVDs, I'm pretty good. What do you think about Lurker Tech? Why is there Lurker Tech? I got nothing, man. You gotta walk me on through on that one.
I mean, I suppose if you know your opponent's going to be going mass Zerglings, you can just throw down 3 Lurkers and that'll kill whatever runs in, essentially, especially with these Slinkens. But I think a huge threat here is these Mutalisks, because you're never going to be able to move out if you don't have anything to deal with this air. So your spores are really great, but they're static, obviously. So I think Paz has a great opportunity to just continue to do damage. But look at this little hidden expo, man. He's got all sorts of creep colonies going on here. He's droning up. My God, he's getting more drones. What a mad lad.
Oh, finally, we're seeing Paz finally adding on some more drones. Realize, like, you're defending this too hard for too long. Like, I need to get some drones too. We got to catch up in the economy a little bit. I think this had a whole opportunity for a time where it's like maybe this is where you get more upgrades. We're actually seeing Nice Pants get the air armor upgrade. So his, like, whenever he wants to go into that muted explosion later, if he has these upgrades, they're going to be pretty good. Paz has a very threatening muted count. I heard Lurkers burrow, and they're going to be so hard to see and so expected. So Blaze are trying to get in, but these muted are really trying to get something done. Big flock of them, so Pants is a couple meters have to be careful, and it's looking like they can actually ignore these spores and try to get some drone kills if they're looking for it.
Yeah. You got to be careful with that phrase, ignoring spores. They do so much damage, and they're so tough. And yeah, with this one Lurker with no detection, this is nigh unbreakable. I mean, you'd have to have an absurd number of Zerglings. So for all intents and purposes, this is a solid defense from Nice Pants, and now he can really decide to take map control with either Mutalisks, or he can continue to drone very hard from this special third base, whatever he wants to do.
We're seeing a lot of meters from Nice Pants. Actually built up quite the count, and considering that air weapons upgrade is almost done, but a couple meters getting caught back. They move, they're flying back, slowing down Paz, because the big threat's actually all these meters moving toward the natural. There's no anti-air here at all.
Yeah. Oh man. And he doesn't have the drone count that Nice Pants does to really take this sort of drone hit. He's absolutely crushing right now. Look at this. He's down to 12 drones already, 11, 10, and these mutas aren't even back yet. My goodness. +1 is about to finish for Nice Pants. He's looking really good right now. Looking really good.
Oh, a couple good Scourge hits, though. We're seeing a bunch of Lings trying to go in, but the Lurker Tech, surprise, surprise, Lings do not survive Lurker hits very well. The Paz trying to go in for that counterattack, gets nothing done. And look at this drone count, 24 to 8. There's still plenty of army supply for Paz, but with all these stacked defense at all these bases, and the third base that has not been detected yet, like, I don't know if Paz is ever actually going to be able to break this. These mutas are strong, but Nice Pants economy, look, he's already back up to another 11 bunch of mutas, but now they have air upgrades.
And Paz is he's going to have to re-drone up to, whatever he lost, which it's like 15 drones it looked like.
I did just put down a bunch more drones so that we're kind of getting more even. Big chase over in the top right with some of these Scourge. We're seeing more mutas. So Nice Pants actually, I think, outnumbering the mutas. You can see the supply advantage that Nice Pants finally got. Finally getting a yield from all these extra bases. And Paz has this little air army. It's a little bit threatening, but Nice Pants having two groups, it's hard to manage which one. And Nice Pants finding the opportunity. Tons of mutas in the main, and there's no defense again.
Yeah, this might be a big death blow here, especially for the economy. He's coming in here super strong, and that +1 Carapace is so much more powerful.
Oh, he flies into a bunch of Scourge, though. 5 mutas immediately explode. So, like, that kind of evened it up a little bit. Nice Pants taking a big hit, but still, 26 drones, lots of things, and about double the supply now, so he can afford to lose a bunch of these armies. He keeps killing off drones when Paz can't afford to be losing them.
Yeah, he's been redroning essentially for the last minute and a half of this game, and that's never a good move long term.
So another big hit though for Paz, losing a bunch of drones. Like everyone's getting traded back and forth. Nice Pants has so much economy to back off to do it. Look at all the mutas he has back at home. They're not even on the map yet. A good amount of the natural, good amount of the main. And finally, it looks like he's going to mine from this third base he took forever ago. I was expecting just to take at least like 3 drones on the gas, even if he didn't want the minerals. But he invested so much defense in this. Paz trying to look in, but realize that he's so outnumbered by the muta count. I don't think he wants to be taking his fight, but feels pressure. He has to try to get something done here. And taps out. Nice Pants with that greedy, economic, super defensive style. I love, like, that is like so hard that he's just like, no, but I love money.
Yeah, he's been leaning into that. With, I might add, the signature Hidden Expo. Truly a classic maneuver. I would put that very close to Boris's nukes.
Well, Boris has not nuked every game, but I feel like we're blowing up Nice Pants' spot. Like, we're showing all the games, like, look what he keeps doing over and over. It's like,
yeah,
whoever
right.
plays with CPL, the coach is going to be mad that we're casting his games. Oh, man.
Come on, guys.
Well, we got a couple more games tonight, but we're going to take a quick second. We're going to talk about tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, there's another match of the week, higher tier games. These games have been a lot of fun, a lot of scrappy players trying their best to get the wins. With there's a little bit of the sloppy builds, a little unfocused, but it's still fun to watch because just watching Starcraft when it's evenly matched is what you want to see. We're going to have more of that tomorrow night. You can see it's going to be a little more higher level play, but that's going to be tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Me and Cold War is going to be casting that. And I'm still here with CoZ. We got a couple more games tonight. So we got a lot of just great CPL action for you this week. Before we finish up 2020, the New Year's almost here, but we're making sure you have a good time until we get there.
Yeah, my wonderful co-caster will actually be casting my matches tomorrow. So you should be there. Check it out. See some of my failures. Always a good time. No nukes up. Unfortunately, I deserve.
Let me introduce the players and I'll address that because I didn't publicly announce what groups we're casting, but cool. No, we can do it. That's fine.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
In the top right, it's the orange Protoss Dastardly Knight. And then the bottom left, it's Reef Ego. Pros versus Protoss, so a different mirror matchup. See how this one goes. To address what group's being cast tomorrow, it's going to be preseason week 2, group 31. So it's a pretty reasonable high-level skill. It's not the best players we have.
Sounds like a great group. I wonder who's in there. Woo!
I know. The way you're talking it up, like your games better
be. Are gonna be terrible.
Hey, I just want your games to be exciting. I don't care if you win or not. That's not my problem. Okay.
Oh well, now I got to perform better for the regular season.
Yeah, I mean possibly. So Pros versus Pros. You know anything about this matchup?
I love this matchup so much. This is probably my favorite matchup that I don't play. Actually.
You are a maniac. Actually.
Awesome matchup. I just love that there's so many, again, I don't play it. So I love that it seems to be most of the matchup is wrangling horrific units with bad AI. And I just love that. I love that you spend most of your time herding these Dragoons around, trying to keep them in order. Like you're playing damage control the entire game. It's so great. It's so great.
That is painfully accurate. I don't like that. That is painfully accurate.
I don't mean to trigger anyone. I'm sorry.
No, that's completely fine. I think we're seeing a little bit of the weird build from Dastardly Knight. This is not something I'm used to seeing because look at the money building up. I think this is Nexus first. which if you can get away with it, it's very strong. It's hard to punish if you scout it too late. On a 2-player map, though, I do not like it. So, oh no.
Oh boy.
All right.
You know,
so
earlier today, you had talked about wanting to watch the matches in order, and maybe this was the first match he played. And depending on how this plays out, maybe he's like, you know what, I should change it up, or maybe he decides to double down. Who knows? We'll see if he gets away with it.
All right, so Reef Ego immediately sees this Nexus and immediately starts a second gateway. I like this decision. Before a Cybercore doesn't care, I'm sending units your way.
Truly, just taking out the big guns. I think this is a perfect response. Makes total sense, right? However, if Dastardly Knife holds this off, I mean, that's going to be legendary.
All right, so one of the problems that you're going to come into with this matchup, this is why a lot of people complain about it. It's a little coin flippy. The big little triangle that you got to consider is, I think you're going DTs, so I'm getting detection, versus I don't think you're getting detection, so I'm going DTs, versus you're not going DTs, so I'm just going to kill you with Dragoons. And when you know it's Nexus first, DTs probably are not the answer. They definitely could be, because there is a build where you go DTs, you get Forge and Cannons, and that you force them to get observers before they can do anything, and that gives your expansion time to get rolling. But given what you saw when you walked to the base, you can kind of write that off, and I like that we're seeing Reef try to start some Zealots, send them across the map, and see if you can get some damage done.
Yeah, these two are going to fare probably quite well versus the single Zealot that's coming out for Dastardly Knight, if I had to make an assumption. But Reef has followed up with just a single Dragoon so far. He hasn't started range or anything like that, and he's actually just going for a third game. I like this a lot. Yeah, just double down, triple down on your units. Do as much damage as you can, and try and punish this greedy move.
Yeah, he doesn't feel rushed to get the range because he knows his opponent's not going to have the range just as much as either. And you actually see these Zealots are just punching each other, so we're going to see if we can get some damage done. But Dastardly's got his first Dragoon basically done, so I like the decision from Reef, not trying to go up and really force us out. Just let the Zealots in the natural, try to kill some probes and catch some things up, while he's got these gateways being made so he can start slamming units down. Although he's got a probe position, I think he's looking like he's trying to expand behind and accept the loss.
Yeah, he's trading quite well here. As long as he can keep this Dragoon away and get his own Goon out, I think he should be in a little bit better of a position. And he still is, despite all the probe losses, he's even on probes right now. Dastardly Knight's not looking awful right here. I'm not saying he's looking great, but things aren't. Not all hope is lost.
No, but there's a lot of Dragoons being made. Reef Ego definitely going for the kind of reaction I would like to see here. Just hard Dragoons, ignore the tech, they don't matter. And he's at least forcing the mining off this natural. There's 2 Dragoons here compared to a Dragoon and a Zealot. Although Reef's got to be careful, taking a lot of free damage, not trying to kite things out. He's got reinforcements that'll come, but one of the big things that it's he's going to have more production, but he doesn't want to be losing this advantage early, let it snowball out of control. Particularly to the point where your Dragoons will 2-shot their Dragoons, because you know you're going to get to that point faster than your opponent.
Yeah, certainly. Okay, this is starting to spiral here.
It's a rough situation, but still very close. The Nexus is finished for Dastardly Knight. We're seeing units being made here. We're starting to get near that point, though, where Reef can really punish these Dragoons that are trickling in one at a time. And you can see, still back at home, a bunch of goons being made. One of the gateways not rallied, so there's 2 goons at home just hanging out. They could be instrumental to breaking this actually open better. But it looks like finally getting everything out of the mine. It's going to be hard to move down the ramp. And Reef should be able to shut down this Nexus, which, when they took their own, there's a bunch of money Dastardly got, but this is still a big loss that you don't want to take.
Yeah, certainly. This is going to put you very, very far behind, including all those probe losses you just went through. He is getting range, though. Knight's going for range well before Reef. So, I mean, as long as he has this upper ground advantage, he could trade quite favorably with these down here if Reef chooses to move up the ramp and try to finish this game.
Alright, well, so I'll give you the tip I received before, because I've lost so many games not listening to it. When you're in Reef's spot here, you do not force your way up the ramp. You kill the Nexus, you know they're on one base, do the contain. Do not force your way up. That's how you lose. That's how you lose. Like, you can see Dashley here. He's got more Dragoons. Actually, Reef should have, if he had a good contain around that ramp, he would have taken a great engage. But Dashley manages to get down. And see, this is what I'm talking about, having a little bit of a goon advantage, because Dastardly Knight, having more, can focus fire down. And he was only up 2 Dragoons in that fight, but he's winning with 4 left over.
Yeah, that was really nice engagement. That was a great trade. He's down on probes, so he's kind of got his work cut out for him in terms of, he's down in expansion now. He's down probes, but that was a great engagement.
Yeah, a good attempt to get something back here. Dashley Knight looking like they're just going to lean into units, maybe go for a counterattack. But they might not be aware that Reef did take the Nexus behind this attack. They might be thinking like, oh, that was very committed to get this done. So this worker advantage that we see now for Reef, the building, production, all that looks very similar for the 2 players. And you actually see that we get a forge at the front, just so like the cannons, it's an easy, cheap, gas light way to get some detection to make sure DTs don't sneak in your base and ruin everything. So I like Reef's decision here to go for something like that, but you can see the situation it is. Reef's got a lot more workers, although at the moment you can take a look at this Dragoon count we're seeing from Dashley Knight. 9 Dragoons moving across the map compared to the 7 Reef has, but there is a cannon. It's going to be all about how this engage goes. Those 2 pylons even at the front might be enough. Reef's trying to move out though. This might be tragedy as he moves to Dragoons on the high ground.
Ooh, hold your high ground, Knight. Also, in classic Knight fashion, he's getting +1 attack. So regardless of the matchup, this main is going upgraded Dragoons. No matter what, he's committing to it.
+1 not as critical in this matchup. It's not a bad upgrade to get at all, but like this is the kind of thing where it's like you are better off getting an extra gateway, so you actually just have the more units. Upgrades will play a point, but this early in the game, it's like this could be Reavers, could be anything. Reef trying to move out again onto this high ground. And you can see, like, again, Dashley Knight taking a great fight because he's getting the first good volleys, and he's focused firing a lot better than we see from Reef, so it's going to be another situation. But there's a couple Zealots in the mix, making this a little more complicated.
Very nice. Very nicely done by Knight. This really, I think that fight really illustrates how good and how important positioning and focus firing is for PvP. Absolutely vital.
Yeah, that's a big thing that'll decide who wins these little close Dragoon versus Dragoon fights. Chad just pointed out, I kind of forgot about it, the Dragoon range from Reef just getting started now. Like I thought he would have started that a while back ago, but ended up not. So even like trying to take those fights straight up, maybe forgot that he skipped it just to get the units out a little faster to get the Nexus going a little bit earlier. But we've got to do that now. But that should tell him he has to be like stationary for a while, especially since he's tech is straight into Templar. Gonna skip the Reavers, go straight for Storm to help out these fights.
Interesting. So specific question here. When you know that you're fully saturated on 2 bases, specifically in a PvP, are you ever just going to simply cut workers and add an extra gate or 2 to make up for that lack of, since you're not producing workers anymore? Or do you want to continue producing them and then just expand as soon as you can?
It really depends if your plan is to win off a 2-base push or you're just going to keep taking it later. Because like if you're in a spot like right now, like let's say Dashley Knight, Reef's not pushing out, he might be planning, I should take a 3rd base because I know my opponent's not trying to stop me. Whereas like Reef looks like they're prepping more for, it's like I'm being defensive here, I'm being holed up, I don't feel comfortable, so I should prep for the 2-base push.
Okay, interesting. Because I would have thought that Reef would cut worker production and just stop building them, save himself that cash, since he's got great saturation right now. Throw down an extra gate.
He doesn't have enough probes now on 2-base to consider that yet.
He doesn't. Okay. Cool. He also has one probe on gas in his main.
Oh, that's a tragedy. Oh, no. That's not what you want. But he's got plenty of gas. We're actually seeing Reef move out, and he's moving a different path, so it doesn't walk into Dashley Knight's things. Might be opting into the trade, while Dashley Knight's attempting to take the 3rd base. So actually going exactly with what we were talking about just seconds ago, about who's doing what. Reef trying to get their some damage done and stop this base. I don't know how he knew it was there, though. I think he's just guessing and getting lucky. Although if Dashley Knight's paying attention, he sees all these army units up there. He should go for an attack right now, and he moves forward.
He looks like he's going in. Yeah, it looks like Dashley Knight's just going to dive for this one. And he's got a tremendous number of Dragoons here, and he's going to end up trading a natural for a potential third base, and that's a better trade for Knight. It's looking good for him right now.
Absolutely. This is such a hard spot. Like, Reef's so out of position here. Now the plan's going to have to be for Reef that he has to keep going with his attack, or he has to come back and eat the loss. It's the situation you don't want to end up being in. But Dashley Knight not really focusing down, not trying to kill that Nexus or kill probes or anything. He's just kind of free firing while he's not really worrying about things. Not really macroing back at home either, a little bit unfortunate. He's giving his opponent time to come back, but still has a pretty severe Dragoon count that he's got to be worried about. Because Reef walking in, he's getting here, but he's walking in one by one, easy to focus fire.
Yeah, these hold positions from Knight are going to do work here.
You can see how this fight's going. Like, having that good targeting when you're doing these Dragoon fights means such a difference. Look, Dashley Knight barely losing anything. Although a couple Zealots coming up from behind, sandwiching things, but I think Dashley Knight just has too many units here in a spot where it's going to be hard for Reef to do anything. He's trying to sneak a third base at the same time Dashley is reestablishing his own. We'll see how this actually goes.
This was a very Dragoon heavy matchup. No real tax here, aside from Goons, which was kind of an interesting move. But it's been very, very interesting to see Dashley Knight take such a bold early game move economically, take a huge hit, get forced back into his main base, and then through just great engagements and good micro, good positioning, work his way back into this match.
Yeah, like, I gotta compliment Dashley Knight there. A big part of why he won that game was during the Dragoon versus Dragoon fights, he actually was focused fire. He won those fights so handily because of it. Even in spots where I'm like, this is probably going to go even. This might actually even go for Reef because the numbers look better. They were less bruised, but focus fire is so important in that. And it's, again, like both players skipping some of the traditional tech you're used to seeing. It's like there was no Robotech, there was no Reavers that really make those fights a little more complicated. It was just core gateway units, no stealth, no nothing, just Goon versus Goon, let's do it.
Yeah, that got scrappy there for sure. But very, very good. Very good. Very good.
Yep. So tonight we got 2 more games ahead of us. We got PVZ, and then we got a game that I think people have been looking for with the way we go. And the final game tonight is going to be Nice Pants versus Border, so that'll be fun. But we got a PVZ to go through first, and then we're going to get into that one. Remember, if you were having a good time tonight with the casting, that we have more matches of the week tomorrow. Make sure you're being there. But we got 2 more tonight. In the top right, we have in that like military green, it's Paz the Zerg. Classic. And in the top bottom left, it's Reef Ego. Looking, what is that, like periwinkle? That's cool. I mean, what color is that? Like, right? That's periwinkle.
It's like a really light lavender, I would say. I don't know.
That's kind of blue.
Sure.
It's like desaturated blue.
But periwinkle, I like that a lot better.
I mean, it's close, man. Like it's close.
Nice.
All right, so
this is a great.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Pause. I think like we've seen historically through all the games we've seen of this player, 9 pool. It's gonna be a 9 pool. Get the aggression on early. Like that seems to be his style. He's done it in every matchup. But it does not matter which one. So I think that's gonna be the play. We'll see if that ends up being what we see. And we're seeing that very early drone kind of move out for a second. Wonder what's going on here. We'll figure that out shortly. Well, yeah. In the meantime, pylon being made at the front and the drone or probe scout being sent out as well. So, and there's an eye pool. Look, I'm psychic.
How did you know?
I don't know, man.
I'll say these players are quite consistent.
I do like that for like the lower tier players. Make the life easier yourself. 1 build per matchup. Just really get it down. Just pick something that's stable that you can get something to work with. And we're seeing Reef go for that Forge Fast expand, so no problems with that here. And Reef was the one we saw earlier. Well, he did the Forge first, but was doing a little more properly, getting cannons, getting the like Nexus fast. He wasn't really trying to lean into like getting a gateway and having a million options.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier, and I think it's worth mentioning again. He plays very consistently. Reef likes to get those 2 cannons and to play safe and to get himself into a good mid-game position. Gets usually a Stargate from what I've seen. Last game he didn't, so I'll be very interested to see if he gets it again.
This is a thing that's like, it seems small, but I gotta like really stress it because it's so important for this matchup. Especially you see like Reef right now. He's going for those blind 2 cannons. He got into base. He saw the spawning pool. but he's not trying to keep the probe in the base. He's not trying to see how many lanes get made or if there's like a fast hatchery. He's not like really trying to keep the scout seeing this very important early information. He's trying to go back now. CoZ just running by him with the links, but he has less of a warning than he did. Which, I mean, he's going blindly 2 cannons. It's going to be fine that he did this, but this is the kind of thing that at some point you can't just afford to go blindly 2 cannons every game. It's going to hurt you economically too much at some point.
Certainly. Certainly. He's doing a good job keeping the probe alive now, though. We have a natural hatch coming from CoZ.
Caster curse, man. Why'd you say it?
Oh my goodness. Oh, nice run by, though.
CoZ trying to go through, so it's very similar to what he got with before. He got about 1.5 Zerglings through, the 1.5 health. And Reef fighting with a lot more probes than we saw last time. They shouldn't be terribly worried about this. You can just defend this like they're not at super high health. They don't have speed yet. They're not really out of control. But you just got to be careful. And CoZ finding a little bit of opportunity, getting some pickoffs. This is good value for what he ended up doing.
Yeah, certainly. Every game that he's done a run by, he has only made it into the base with 2 lings. So, honestly, this is part of the course, but he's doing a great job taking out. He's got 2 probe kills at least. Well, he's looking good.
I believe that was the 3rd one right there, so definitely getting the job done.
Nice.
Hatchery going down for CoZ, so like not leading hard into getting nothing. 3rd hatchery as well. I think we saw last time that it was Hydrotech early, like make sure you can get some pressure on. Meanwhile, you do have from Reef that Nexus on the way, gateway, but it's like, again, like I think the walling on this map gets weird. You're actually seeing a second pylon part of the wall just to like kind of slow, like choke this up a little bit, make it easier to block up with your units. So,
yeah.
Which I don't even know how well that actually works, like if the pylon and forge like this is actually tight or not when it's horizontal. Again, I'm not a walling expert. I'm a little bit concerned though.
Yeah, I need some more nursery rhymes to help me out to figure it out. I like the 3 hatches. And yeah, we're probably a 90% chance. I'll keep my fingers crossed, though, that we'll see Hydroden out of CoZ, which, leads you to assume that we'll probably see some early aggression. But he actually rebuilt 2 more pairs of links, which I think was a good idea, just to keep 1 park down. And it's especially a good idea because there's a Zealot moving out for Reef, right? And dealing with those early Zealots, you're going to have a couple of Zerglings.
I mean, if
you
can catch them leaving the base and get them on the map, they don't get that scouting info either, which is really nice. But CoZ also getting Zergling speed nearing done, so it's like there is these 2 cannons here, but you might want to fancy a try running by it with speed and taking less damage. And you can see he's taking 1 free cannon shot there, so it's back and right off. But the Zealot is looking like it's going to be able to walk into the natural and see what's going on, which unlike the games we've been seeing tonight, we see 3 hatcheries and a Lair's on the way. Probe is in the base, fully seeing all of that, so knows that it's not a Hydra bust immediately. It's going to be Lair Tech. Let's see if CoZ decides to, or Reef decides to still go Citadel first, or is he actually going to go Stargate this time?
Yeah, that's a very, very important question. Especially given that we're seeing Lair Tech rather than Hydras. Interesting. He's still building a couple pairs of links here and there, and that's 2 more pairs of links. So he's going very, very ling heavy here. I would be surprised if he didn't use these for some sort of large bust. But +1 coming for Reef, standard stuff. Cybernetics core going up. Yeah, he's a very consistent player.
Yeah, but that core is very late. Like Chad was actually asking a question about if the core was actually made yet. And it's one of those things that I take for granted. Like, no, it's up. It's got to be up. And it wasn't. It's definitely late. So you can see that the Lair's on the way, but not Spire Tech. It's actually going to be Hydra. So this could be a move that it's like, oh, I'm tricking you. You saw the Lair. You're not going to be prepared for the Hydra buzz. Go for it anyway. Or just fast lurkers forcing early robotics tech, because getting observers fast as matchup is not typically what you want to be doing here. You want to be getting other things first. And when the Cybercore finish, we'll see what CoZ's tech choice is. And it is another Citadel build. He's not going to be going for Corsair, going to be playing in the dark, not getting that scouting info, while CoZ gets another base up and a lot of speed links up at the front, trying to get through, but Lings or Zealots are in position to help deflect that.
Yeah, I think he's safe against this link count, despite how it's a lot of speed links. It's a lot of speed links. But I think he should be good. And we're actually seeing a 3rd base from CoZ on top of these the Hydra production that we're getting. And it's actually going really early lurkers.
I am very worried about this because when I was doing the Citadel builds back in the day, like you can fight off Hydras and Lurkers and things, but
Yep.
you need to I need to see it and go Observers fast, or you need to get Storm quickly. And with how delayed that Cyber Core was, I'm curious if that's actually going to happen in time. The Link's trying to go through, seeing how many pulls are in this wall, tons of Speed Links getting into the building.
Dang. That's a lot.
And this sees the Citadel of Adun too. It sees that it's not any kind of other tech. He knows there's no robotics. Like, this is just a really bad situation. Even if those Links don't do a lot of damage, but they're definitely getting some kills on him.
Yeah, big panic pull. He actually pulled a lot of probes there from his natural, along with the Zealots. And although he cleans it up, CoZ has a good idea of what's going on in there. And by a good idea, I mean an awesome idea. So he's actually producing a ton more Zerglings. He's really doubling down on this. His Lurker tech is almost finished, so he's going to be able to build a couple of those. And I think we're going to either transition into a contain, or he's going to get really, really aggressive with this.
Well, seeing that CoZ is blindly building some creep colonies, it looks like he wants to have units out on the map and being aggressive and just use the buildings to protect against some kind of counterattack. But we're seeing from Reef, he's got the +1 attack upgrades. So these Lings are going to be a lot worse at fighting these Zealots here, and the speed's about to be finished. So this move out from Reef, like, these Sunkens being made are definitely going to be helpful in stopping this. But one of the things that makes it a lot harder for these is like some kind of SimCity buildings to slow these down. They're going to be able to get right on there. But the Lurkers that are already made are going to help out so much. Burrowing just in time.
Yeah. Wow. Dude, talk about timing. Nicely done. Nicely done. But still no Stargate. Man, it's not that it's concerning. It's just like that allows you so much more flexibility, and it gives you so much more knowledge of what the Zerg is doing. And as a Protoss player, you need the information on what the Zerg player is doing. You need to know how you can deal with it and what tech you're trying to go for.
You can't really afford to go Stargate if you're going to Citadel first. You're better off
Yeah.
going for Observers for the vision. You're better off continuing towards Storm to help you against Hydras and like Mutas. So you have all these other options. And you see there is one Lurker here. No vision, but still lots of Zealots here. They're going to be able to get some damage done. He's kind of committing to his attack. But it will be a little bit dangerous if he loses too many of the Zealots. He's just trying to focus down the hatchery to stop this base.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, he does get it at least. That's good. But, you throw away 12-ish Zealots. That's a lot,
Yeah, so there's still some back at home. The upgrade's still cooking. They're actually working towards armor now instead of continuing for the +2. With no armor on the way for the Zerg player, it's not so bad. It's going to see what the next move is. Getting towards the Temple Archives, but I would love to see, Lurkers are there. You got to get that robe on the way, which there is under production. That should have been priority number 1 when you know Lurkers are in the game.
Yeah, so Robo and Templar at the same time. Interesting. Yeah, one of the reasons why I had brought up the Stargate comment was because we've seen Reef lose to early Lurker builds more than a couple times, and almost leads me to think that if he had early Corsairs and early scouting enough to say, oh, all right, you're going Hydra Den really early, that might set off a few more alarms, and having a little more knowledge of what the Zerg player is doing might allow him to sort of, adjust his build accordingly, because he's still building a ton of Zealots. And, when there's a lot of Lurkers on the map, which there's only 4 right now, but, you're going to have to start transitioning into Dragoons quite quickly.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things that helps you. Storm does help as well, but really it's even Zealots can fight Lurkers as long as they're not in a ridiculous amount or in a ridiculous position, but you need to be able to see them. Observers are still the key to all of this kind of stuff. Reef doing a good job keeping the macro up with the army. You can see actually that worker count very significantly different between the two. So while CoZ has that third base, investing a lot in this army, a lot in this tech, so I think it needs to feels pressure to get something done. A couple of these Zealots get taken out by some Links to the front, but it's going to be hard for Reef to move out. But how will CoZ actually abuse that?
Yeah, Reef is kind of a little bit just shooting himself in the foot here. I like the third base that he's taken right now, but in the main base, he's missing 1 probe on the gas, and he's missing 2 probes at the natural. So he's really only mining off of 1 geyser for all intents and purposes right now. I'd really love to see him.
That's
on. Yeah.
One of those things that you won't even notice until it's too late. Reef finds the window though. This contain from CoZ a little bit soft. Actually lets all these Zealots move out, but there's still Lurkers at the front with no vision. So this attack from Reef, not advised. It's gonna not really get anything done. and just throwing away a bunch of units here, this might signal to Paz, like, you're weak at the front, I can get something done.
Oh, yeah, certainly. And we're starting to see that the Dragoon production that I think is that's really necessary to get yourself out of this lurker contain. Would you be able to offer some insight on really how you get out of lurker contains? Because this is like a common problem for a lot of people.
I died to it too. No, I can't. In all reality, I really am not good at this kind of stuff. There's units that can help you, Storm or Reavers can help you outrange them, so you can kind of slow push your way out. That'll also help against Hydras, which are typically part of this. But really, the best answer to fighting these contains, don't get contained in the first place. And with moving out with these units, losing them in like some ways that weren't fantastic, he's kind of opening the door up. But you can see here, trying to go out with these forced lurkers doing so much work, and now just down to Dragoons that don't have range, not going to be super effective. Getting some damage done, but there's still a lot of army behind this up at the north side. Reef has to be very careful to not overstep right here.
Yeah, but he's got the observers out. Oh, don't lose it. All right. Okay, the observer's dead. He does have this third base, though. That's good. Although it's not connected, and he's still got a little bit of a kind of a soft contain going on here, he does have his third base, so that's good. If he can hold that and start to produce out of it and really get the benefits of it in the long run, I think he can look pretty good. But dealing with this huge army out here is such a big pressing factor.
Well, we're seeing more lurkers being made. This army from Paz keeps kind of growing in strength. Although he's not adding on a lot of drones, so it feels like it is necessary. Now, this base was known about. There is one Overlord I could see the cannon off on the side. You can see Paz trying to set up, looking like they want to pressure that instead of the natural. Reef does have Dragoon range finish now, and it does have Storm finish, but there's no Templar here with energy, so that's kind of research that's not helping out so much. Reef trying to push forward, though. He's pushing into a good amount of Hydras. Lurkers are morphing, but they're not a lot like sunken in just yet. Reef might find the only opportunity he's going to have to actually kind of break out of this contain a little bit.
Nice. Yeah, I think that was well timed. Very well timed. So he has one Templar out right now. Doesn't seem like he has any more on the way. He's got one more on the way. Okay, so he's starting to really get into that Templar tech. So that's a great decision. So right now, contain's been broken. He's looking pretty good. He's got his Templar tech out, and he's got his third base up. I'd love to see the gas. Get the gas, get the gas, get the gas.
Dude, it's one of those things you're not going to notice. Although a couple Zealots moving forward, like if they were paying attention, they saw how many Hydras and things were behind them, and how we are more in front. So while Paz's supply is not nearly as big as Reef's, like this is still a pretty intimidating army, because if you look at the army evaluate, they're about even supply-wise. Reef has so many more workers. He's got to be investing into actually getting on some more units on the board, finally adding on some extra gateways to try to help out with this.
Yeah, 2 probes in the bottom right. Is he going for a elusive double expand, maybe? That'd be bananas.
I mean, I think it's possible. Paz was very focused up at the section between the natural and the third. Might be able to get away with this if he goes in the bottom left. It's like, there's nothing here. He's not going to find it. And you see Reef actually going out for a little sneaky move out across that, up the left and across the top, trying to avoid this big army and see if he can put some pressure on that third base. So he sees nothing there at the 4. He's got to feel comfortable. They're still on 3. And actually lost an Overlord, so is out. But here comes some Lings going in. A couple cannons here to help defend them.
Yeah, these Lings don't look like they're going to do much. But it does confirm to him for sure that third base is up, running, and fully saturated. It's looking good.
This poor drone. The drone just walked up to the 4th like, all right, it's time to expand. Just immediately start getting shot by Dragoons. Feels bad, man. Paz has been supply block for a while, has not noticed. Actually not building Overlords right now. A little too focused on these fights, losing sight of the bigger picture, unfortunately.
Yeah, you know, a really common move for Zerg players is you cruise in, you feel really confident with your Lurker contain, you're looking great. The Protoss builds up very slowly, busts out, and you're in this position where you're behind, you don't have as many bases as you want, and you invested a little bit too much in the contain, and now the Protoss has a huge army. He's going to start steamrolling it if you're not careful.
I mean, that was a pretty decent window. Still some Lurkers burrowed, so as Protoss tries to move over this ramp, taking some free damage. Hydra's on the high ground as well. And I don't think there's any detection here for Protoss. Finally, the Observer's here, but still so many Hydras, and Reef has to actually give up that attack after taking some pretty substantial losses.
Yeah, unfortunate engagement, and he lost another observer. So I actually am not. I don't believe he has any observers at this point.
That's hard to say. That's definitely one of those things I just build a shit ton of. I'm like, nah, I need
Yeah,
I
just,
need some observers.
Continually produce them.
I'm gonna lose them. So just no. Pause finally trying to take that next step, getting that queen's nest so they can keep advancing up the tech tree. Although after deflecting that attack, should feel comfortable to take this fourth base and get control of this top side of the map, which, as a Protoss, like, you don't want Zerg to get too much control of the top side of the map, because if they can get that double gas expansion, that's always a moment that is going to be a problem for you to how you're going to figure out how to break it.
Yeah, and another huge problem we're looking at is, as a Zerg player, your Protoss is taking their fourth base, and you're still on your third. You really got to aggressively take your bases, and you should always be up by one. General rule of thumb, always be up on one base. And so Reef is just going to get scarier and scarier. He's got a great number of gateways. He's got Templars. He's got an Archon. Healthy upgrades. He's looking pretty good here.
Yeah, Reef already with the +2/+1 and actually going towards +3. Actually, it's 3 forges, which is churning out everything. And a really importantly good ground army. As long as he's got those observers to see the detection, that's really the big thing he needs here. Because this big move out towards the top side, if he can shut down that fourth base again, Paz got to feel very uncomfortable about the spot he's in. Although a couple Hydras moving over, they see a lot of Protoss army. They're just walking side by side. It's a truce for the moment. But look at all that scouting information.
Yeah, they're just hanging out. They're going to the same destination. So, All right. So holding this ramp is going to be key for Paz. If he can move up here. Oh man.
Well, there's more than one ramp. It's hard to actually hold these. Lurkers are very strong. But
yeah, which ramp do you want? It's kind of a nice Lurker's position though. He's got the high ground. He's looking really good. But this is a ton of Protoss units. This is a lot.
There's a lot of good storms softening up everything, but still no vision on these Lurkers on the south side. And there's no Lurkers on the top side as well. So these Dragoons managed to get in the base. They're going to take a big win here. The Lurkers are going to have to reposition. They might be able to get gunned down in time, but if nothing else, the Dragoons should be able to force the cancel on this. They just got to be careful to not get trapped and lose too many Dragoons for this trade.
Yeah, that was he's still got a lot of Lurkers. Paz is looking okay. I'm just worried about this drone count. I mean, Reef has 77 probes. That's real crazy. Spread out over 4 bases. So he can just absolutely mass out units. So Paz has got to get another base going. He's got to be very careful. He's taking good trades right now, which is good. He's got to continue doing that. Be efficient with your units, but start to get that economy a little bit more online.
Oh, realistically, you're talking about all these probes that Reef has. He's got to actually take another base. The main mined out, the natural very close to being mined out. He's doing a good job shutting things down and actually sending a probe looking at to about the 9 o'clock, trying to set up that base as well. So it might be enough.
Right too. He heard you.
Oh, you're the one that said it first. He heard you. Those Dragoons up at the 4th base though, getting trapped. So if nothing else, you're just slowing down Paz, making sure that base doesn't get established. But Reef's situation looking quite good, with Paz just not having the drone count. A very different style of Zerg that we saw from Nice Pants, where it's just like, I have so many units, it's going to be so hard to actually stop. But with Hive Tech done now, Queen's Nest was made a while ago, Hive Tech's done, now we're finally on the way towards getting those Zergling upgrades to make them really scary, and some more Evo chambers to just add a little more good measure.
Oh, for sure. And it looks like Reef is also thinking about taking this bottom right. So he's entrenched in a lot of these positions, and his army's still looking pretty good. I'm interested to see how this next engagement goes, because right now, Paz is looking okay. He's got a fair number of Lurkers. But his upgrades are a little lacking. He's only 1-1. And dealing with Protosses that are 2-3, especially when you're down in supply, can be a tall order. So I like that he's taking this base, but he's going to need to make some serious moves. I want to see him deny this top left here, or excuse me, this 9 o'clock.
Well, Reef's setting all his army up there, so denying that 9 o'clock might be very difficult. I think a better plan might be sending a little squad of Lings down to that bottom right, but I don't know if Paz even knows about it. This is a good opportunity to pick up a whole bunch of Templar, though. Paz not jumping on it, though. Reef's army's all in that area, but fairly spread out. And finally, Paz going in here, looking like they're going to try to attack from the back, but I'm not sure. It's a hard choice. Do you attack the base or you defend your own?
Yeah, it's a difficult choice, and that's a ton of Zealots on the top left. Good storms. Oh, beautiful storms. Nicely done.
Yeah, big damage here. Reef doing a good job defending this front. Paz, losing a lot of army without really taking anything else, and that's not even ignoring that whole top section of Zealots that just get to walk in for free. No lurkers there to help defend that. That fourth base for Paz going down again.
Oh man, my heart goes out to all these Templar that are just getting absolutely shreked here. But he's trading bases, so that's good. Paz is going to try and come in here and take this one, and Reef is definitely going to take out this base up here for Paz.
It just needs more observers. That's the only thing keeping Paz in his games, that these lurkers are doing far more damage than they ever have any right to. That base goes down again. There's finally an observer to hang out with them. Paz trying to take a little bit of an attack, slow down this 9 o'clock base, but Reef has plenty of army here ready. And Paz trying to fight this, but these are very upgraded Zealots, very terrifying. 3-2-1 upgrades versus these 1-1 Hydralisks. This is not the fight you want to be taking. Look at these Zealots fight their way through everything.
Yeah, they're just shredding right now. Oh my goodness. This is where lurkers come in handy. And he's just continuing to he's doing a huge round of Zealots right now. So we're actually going to see another. I think he's seeing the success that he's having with these Zealots, just eating up his Hydralisks. So he's going to continue to do that. And I like these storms. I would like to see him use a few more storms. He's got them. He's got plenty of energy on him, but he's doing a lot of army movement. I think he could get a lot more bang for his buck if he threw down a couple more storms.
But there's still no observers. That's the thing that's really holding this army back. Like these observers just doing so much damage. If you get like
he's got 5 food.
If you could see that after score screen of how much damage each unit did, you'd be like, I'm building observers for the rest of my life. Like, never let this happen again.
This lurker has 13 kills and this other one has 12. So yeah, they're doing work for sure.
That's ridiculous. That's so ridiculous.
And he has 5 observers queued right now, actually. But the one that just went up there just died. Okay.
Yeah. But really, end of the day, this bought time. Even if the fight's like it slowed down that fourth base from Paz, it bought time for Reef to get up his 4th and his 5th. The natural did finally mine out though. So all these probes, and you can see the 3rd base that Reef took nearing the end. This is actually the point where you might want to start considering sacrificing probes. 83 is a lot considering what your opponent has. You might want to free up some supply for more army once you get to max. Yeah,
for sure. And you have 83 probes on only 3 bases. And there isn't even gas being mined on 2 of them. So, spread them out a little bit. But interesting, that's a nice cannon placement that would normally be a Nexus over at the bottom right base.
I think Reef has no intention of taking it as a base, and he's just making sure Paz doesn't take it. So that way he can focus all of his efforts up in that top side. It's like, if you want 4th base, this is your only choice, and you've had so much trouble defending it, I'm just going to keep leaning in, making sure this is what's going to stop you.
Yeah, certainly. I love the commitment to lurkers that Paz has had, though. They really have done. They've kept him in this game, and they've been doing work.
Yeah, but Paz is slowly running out of time. You can even see for the small drone count we commented on a lot this game. He's actually mined out his main and his natural. Finally trying to get something to go here. A couple lanes moving in, but so many cannons are here. Army doesn't even have to be there to slow that attack down. Yeah. 3-2-3 for our Protoss player. He is. This is starting to look like. Well, the Eternal Optimist, obviously. This is starting to look like it's turning towards Paz's favor. Look at all these drones in the bottom side of the map. Where does Paz think he's going? I think now just realizing there's a base down there too. Paz looking for somewhere to hide these drones, but like, I don't know. The Zealots are on the hunt now. Not finding a home for his drone. He's actually going to come in here and attack this 9 o'clock base. Paz is moving in. He's got a fair number of Hydras, but at the same time, he's going to be trading with Reef. This has been the narrative here. They're trading bases. Oh, finally, more observers than just one this time, though. Reef does not want to be losing his army again. Willing to trade that 4th base for his own 5th base. Completely fine with that, and actually might still be able to come down and actually fight this army straight up. There's so much from Reef here. He's actually maxed out. Should be trying to look for fights and get something done, as long as he's not throwing away things carelessly. But now that he has the observers here, like, I don't think that's going to be a problem anymore. Yeah, this is looking real good for Reef. I would love, Paz. You reach a certain point where your opponent is playing with lots of Dragoons and very few Storms. You should say to yourself, I need to consider Defilers and Darksworn, because if I have Lurkers, Darksworns, and Hydras, I can do very well against a Goon Zealot army that doesn't have a lot of Templar. Well, the problem with There is a problem with that, though, that Zealots aren't affected by Darkstorm, and it actually stops your Hydras from doing anything.
True, but your lurkers are that much more effective.
Yeah, that's definitely been the linchpin. Like, if nothing else, though, like, when you're really lean on this Hydra Lurker army, the Fires are useful. Like, yeah, Darkstorm's good. Big Storm going down, some Hydras as well, so as Paz tries to defend this base, it's just not going to be enough. But Plague yourself is a really good choice here. Paz has all his army on the left side, but it's not trying to come here and defend. He's actually putting a hatchery there in front of a pylon, so there's no hidden information at all. Paz is so desperate, you can actually see no minerals being mined, 7 minerals and a couple drones. He's trying to hide over there. If Reef clears out this 9 o'clock base, the game's over, and you can see Zealots are on the way to do just that.
Nice. Nicely done by Reef. He just crushed those 2 bases. Now he's coming back to really seal the deal here against Paz. Nicely done.
And we always give players the benefit of the doubt. If you do top versus bottom, the default chat is allied chat, so if you say GG, it won't appear. But that definitely was well played by Reef. Paz, it's not like the game plan they had was bad. It's just when you're so focused on like doing damage in these attacks, if you can't get them done, it's just going to make things so hard to actually finish the game.
Yeah, certainly. Certainly, but very good game. We've had two very long games actually. That was good. That was good. Very good.
Oh, don't worry. We got one more game for the night. Then I can give you a break. You've been a trooper hanging out with me tonight.
It's been an endurance match, but it has been a pleasure to be here.
Oh, you don't even
couldn't ask for a better half.
You don't even know the torture I've been through. While we're going through the beginning of the next game, we can go into that. But for the final game of the night, let's introduce the players. In the top right, our macro master, Nice Pants, building more drones than any player should ever have. And the bottom left, it's Borisu, doing literally, I have no idea. We'll find out.
Yeah, I think this is the matchup we've been gearing up for the whole night. We've been watching Nice Pants drone his way into wins, and we've watched Borisu meme his way into wins. It's been a pleasure on both ends. I'm very excited to see how this turns out.
Yeah, I may have purposely picked this to be the last match of the night on purpose.
Oh, you!
I might have been ready for this. So it's
excellent.
And a little bit of latency, so already memes might be involved. That's okay. I was just gonna say,
is the latency going to affect your droning there, Nice Pants? Like, what are you worried about? You'll be okay.
I think it's going to be fine. There are actually strategies I would say that you might want to lean into a little bit more. Like maybe don't go like 2 hatch Buta if you're having a little bit of latency. But we'll see what Nice Pants wants to do. I don't take him to be a 2-hatch Muta kind of player to begin with. So
no. As a 2-hatch Muta devotee myself, I completely understand the problems with latency. It wouldn't surprise me. Nice Pants kind of strikes me as the 3-hatch lurker kind of guy. Just sit back behind my lurkers.
Yeah, I
and
can see it. Actually, I could
see myself to the drones.
I could see him doing a 3-hatch before pool, like real hard.
Oh yeah, I didn't even consider that. You're right.
But like what I was saying is like tonight, you say it's been a little bit of an endurance match. I've had a CPL cast last season that was almost 7 hours long. So you don't even know endurance. I don't even remember, and like all of them are over a half hour. Yeah, I don't even.
That's crazy. You must have had like 2 TVTs, a couple of TVP. That's crazy.
No, actually, I don't have long TVTs. I get TVTs pretty often, but always like one person's going rates, one goes CC first, the one BBSs. Like I don't get that long TVT. When I get a TVT, it's fun. We're seeing pretty normal openings so far. Hatchery first, straight into a pool. I think it was actually making 1 drone before the pool, so Nice Pants sneaking out that little tiny bit of extra economy. Borisu making.
I was gonna say that's a move right out of my own heart. I love that one. Add in that extra drone, really set yourself up. Just those tiny little pieces of greed that you can stick in over time really add up later. A little bit delayed on this gas. You would have thought he would have built it already. So it seems like we're gonna see a 3-hatch. Very exciting.
Yeah, there you go. We're calling it. We know what these players want to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I have been waiting for this match all night, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, it's like one of those things you weren't even ready for. Now we're just saying CC going down low ground, Borisu having the racks on the bottom, no early gas. That's not gonna be that Goliath build. No stupid shenanigans. Just he seems like he favors. Listen, I'm like sometimes I want silly things. Although this Borsu early SCV just attacking buildings, doing more damage than why. Like I don't.
He has any right to. That's another nearly half health building. Oh my goodness.
At least these buildings heal up, so that isn't gonna be so bad. But we're gonna see.
What an OP race. Can you believe that? Ugh, disgusting.
They have,
ridiculous.
they have 60 health in the workers. Look, he's actually trying to fight drones, but a couple lings are already made to be able to shut that down. Which, speaking again to the greed of Nice Pants, very few lings being made really just still leaning on. It's like, nah, I got my plan, dude. We're getting drones. We're not doing anything. He's actually just saying the one ling across the map just so he has that spotter in case a move out happens. And we're actually seeing 2 more barracks being added on, so going up to 3 racks and starting gas for Borsu.
Yeah, huge compliment to Nice Pants for not overbuilding lings. I think that's a very common problem, especially with 3-hatch, where you just tend to build a lot of Zerglings for very little reason. He's doing a great job droning, obviously. His layer's looking good, so he's doing a great job. This is a really, really good, real good from Nice Pants. And same thing from Boris too. A little different, not my specialty, but he's looking pretty good.
Hey, you gotta respect the players in the style for doing a little bit more of the aggressive things. That bunker placement is very interesting. I think that's maybe preemptive for just like being annoying to mutas for the future. I've never really seen anyone do that, but it's interesting.
This is 4D chess that Borisu is playing. This bunker is for 5 minutes from now when mutas come into his base. That's what this is for. Come on.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's like I've never seen the placement before, but that's definitely be annoying for mutas to kind of get something done here. Now, we are seeing the Lair's finished, but no Hydra dens on the way. So I think the tech will be Spire eventually, but it feels like that second gas is late for Nice Pants. Although I do see that Link Scout, Nice Pants, very diligent to make sure there's no like bases being stolen, no shenanigans. People are just making Marines.
I looked away from Nice Pants after I complimented him on not overbuilding Zerglings, and I come back and there's 3 sunken colonies. So I'm going to take back half of the compliment. So great job not building the overbuilding Zerglings, but you don't need that many sunken colonies unless you know the Terran's going to move out. But he's got the drones to spare, I suppose. I mean, he's droning up hard. He's looking really good. He's droning so hard, he's probably not going to have enough minerals for a full 9 muta dump, actually.
Well, I'm actually those sunkens, like while it seems preemptive, he only built 2 as creep colonies. He didn't morph out. He's waiting for the move out to morph the other 2, which is always a good move to do. Save the money where you can, be ready for the attack. But the other big thing we're seeing from Borisu is just really powering on these barracks, going up to 4, getting stim. So I wonder if he's going to actually attempt the sunken break.
Yeah, I think that would be a good move. I mean, that was a silly thing to say. It's always a great move to kill a Zerg player. But that's definitely the play of the game for sure. Wow, beautiful scan too. Man, Borsu's got great scans. Do you think it's because he's like kind of a saucy player? Like he just kind of gets that sense. Like
I think he just he has that mind where he knows some of the times. Like, all right, if there's gonna be a Spire done, it's probably around this time. So maybe I could see the mutas or see the everything. Just knows when to try and confirm things. Although we're seeing from Nice Pants actually getting a decent amount of mutas. Borisu has to be careful that eBay not done yet, so no turrets on the way. Although I do believe they will be up and ready in time, given how long the travel distance is on this map.
Yeah, this was a good 3-hatch. Nicely done, and he's got great vision. Very good spread out on his Zerglings. He's got an Overlord over the natural. He's looking really good. Bunker. I like the bunker.
Although the classic drone count we see from Nice Pants, 37, already beating the Terran up on this. Although turrets aren't done yet, that bunker at the top is annoying, but there's only 2 Marines in it. If Nice Pants actually went for this, he can get some damage done before these turrets, and he goes in trying to get something done.
Nice. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. He's actually going to repel this, and it's not because of the turrets. It's certainly because of the bunker. But let's draw some quick attention here to the top left. Maybe some possible shenanigans here from Nice Pants. Maybe taking his third at the double gas. I like it. It's a strong maneuver.
But he already took a third. Macro Master already took a base down at the bottom right too. So he's taking split corners of the map, making sure Borisu has to commit one or the other. You're not stopping both.
He's expanding so fast I can't keep up actually.
That's okay. I don't think he gets to keep up either. He's just building bases beyond belief. He doesn't even care. And he's actually like really teching up pretty fast too. Already getting the Queen's Nest, but more mutas going into the main. There's a couple turrets here, but that's only 7 mutas, I believe. That's not like your giant punch where you're gonna fly through turrets and really take them down. So he slows down another eBay from happening, but no major damage done. But he is keeping Borisu at home, so he's afraid to move out and punish these 2 expansions from Nice Pants.
Yeah, I love the maneuver to kind of skimp on the mutas, crush the droning, and have a huge lurker dump. He's got 5 lurkers coming right now, 2 expansions. I mean, something's going to get through. One of these expansions is going to come through, and he's going to be able to have his 3rd base. He's essentially guaranteed his 3rd gas by attempting to take 4 gases, which is a great move. Love it. So I'd be interested to see, as a follow-up, how fast he's going to get this hive. Because he's already got his Queen Nest done. He's got his Evo Chamber. Things are looking really standard. And he's actually going to play really aggressively with these lurkers. Oh, I love this so much.
He's moving workers across, but there was Marine stepped pretty far forward. Sees them on the way, so he knows that there is lurkers somewhere. So he has the idea of what's going on, but Nice Pants having mutas on the left side. He's got these high ground lurkers on the right, and taking 2 bases, which Borisu had a Marine at the that 1 o'clock base that you would normally take as your 3rd as Zerk here. He had that there and only recently killed it, so I think Borisu might not be aware of how many bases are actually there for Nice Pants right now.
Yeah. Oh man, this is a great move with the lurkers, considering Borisu is just now starting his factory. He has no mobile detection whatsoever. So he's doing the great decision, bunkering up, understanding that this is getting really dangerous real fast. Oh, God. Don't run in there.
Trying to move out. Some of the lurkers deburrowed. Getting into a good position here. Trying to move forward, but lots of damage being taken by Borisu from these lurkers. There's just nothing that can really hit them at range. No siege tanks or nothing. You got these scans, but that's not going to be enough. The bunker is going to see 2 of them in range, but 5 of them still out there stopping the contain. This is giving Nice Pants so much time to just keep developing. Although he's actually not making that many drones, building a lot of buildings, including like Static Defense's main to protect against drops. Really respecting Borisu's play to do literally anything at any time.
Yeah, and Nice Pants said, you know what, I got away with 2 bases for my 3rd gas. I'm actually going to go for a 4th base here. Excuse me, a 5th base. Jesus. This guy's all over the place. He's expanding so much.
Yeah. I kind of love this style where it's just like, well, if I build all the drones, I can just make static defense. I don't even have to worry about it. He's like, I'm surprised it doesn't just play Baros and his cannons everywhere.
Yeah, really, like, what an interesting way to play the race, for sure. Borisu's got some good upgrades, though. He's coming with this +1. I really want to see some vessels and some tanks with some siege mode. That's really going to guarantee your ability to get out of this contain. Because this is looking... prospects are looking stark when you look at this map from Nice Pants.
I mean, really, the pressure's going to have to resolve into something soon. You're saying science vessels, but I don't even see a starport. Is that correct? Like, I'm not just missing it, right? I don't see one?
No, I was looking for one, too. It's down now. Just started.
So, right, so it's just starting now. So you got to feel real bad when your starport is starting as Defiler Mount's finishing. So Consume's definitely going to be ready in time to like really fight these bio forces. The science vessels are going to be up, but Radiant's going to be a while away, and Nice Pants is just really developing, taking more bases, and starting to get back on that drone train. And finally, in the matchup, he can really abuse that ability to just make a bunch of stuff. Ultralisk Cavern on the way. Nothing says I have a lot of money like building a bunch of Ultralisks.
Yeah. Nothing says I've got a lot of money like building an Ultra Cavern directly after your Defiler Mount. You know, beautiful stuff. He's got a lot of gas. He can, he takes bases really fast. He also likes to take his time in saturating them. I will say that. So he'll start to really get these bases up and running probably within the next 5 minutes or so. But he's got the income there, and he's got 42 drones. He's still building drones. His Ultra Cavern's about halfway done. Oh, excuse me, it's finished now. He's looking pretty good. But this contain has been broken, so Borisu can really start to make some moves out on the map here and exert some map control.
More lurkers are being made. Consume is nearing completion, so if there's defilers around, they're going to have that tool. But Borisu's not waiting, moving across. It's going to be before anything here, and I don't really see any defilers. So this is actually pretty dangerous. There's a couple lurkers on the left side, but Borisu's army pretty threatening. Nice Pants has some static defense and a couple lurkers finally spawning, but it's still not a very tremendously big force. I just don't know if Boris wants to risk trying to go for an attacker.
Yeah, it can be tempting to start to take really aggressive fights when you break out of a lurker contain, especially because you sometimes feel like you're so far behind. But that's one of those feelings you really have to fight. You want to take efficient fights and not just run into this. Like, this is essentially impenetrable, this natural for Nice Pants, especially with Defilers on the way and Consume finished. So just take your time, relax, get yourself back up to vessels, get your tanks out, and then you can start moving forward for your extra bases here, specifically your third.
Yeah, it's still going to be a while away, though, for that key unit for this kind of when you're playing against really big defense and lots of lurkers. You need that science facility. You need the science of vessels, and you need a radiate done. The science facility is only being made now. It's not even completed yet, so radiate quite the ways off. And you can see that Borsu's trying to find a place where it's like, where can I take a third base? But Nice Pants has Zerglings, has everything all over the place. And finally, here's some Dark Swarms happening. This Terran army has to be careful not to get caught up by lurkers.
Yeah, he's got good splits here, though. He's going to get it in a way. Avoiding the Dark Storm is good, and he's going to pick out... You felt it, too.
The Defiler moving up just wants to hug people. It's like, no, this is not the play. Don't do this one.
Hug people. Yeah, nicely done. But look at these bases, man. He's got plenty of bases. And this top left one he took, but it's just for insurance policies. Oh, nice pick off on that Sunken, but he's really got to be aware of these Dark Swarms. I like that he's doing a good job working around him, but this tank is going to die if he's not careful. You should keep that alive.
More important than picking off the Sunken, as you were saying. That was actually a nice canal connection. So Nice Pants trying to use some of these tech units where you can be very mobile. Borsu trying to find whatever opening he can. There's only one lurker at the top of this ramp, but because he's not running up there, he's taking so much free damage from this. Borsu's attack going very poorly, losing so many Marines to just a Sunken and one lurker.
Rough. That is lurkers on a ramp are the bane of Terrans everywhere, for sure. And this is the cows are out. Here we go. We got 5 ultras lists out right now. 6. Well, no +1 yet. No armor for these ultras, but they still have 400 health and they're still beefy.
Yeah, but when they don't even have the chitinous plate and they don't have any base armor upgrades, they're actually pretty soft to kill through any kind of stim marines or anything like that. Now there is the Defilers with the Dark Swarm to help out as well. And during all this pressure where Borsu was looking for opportunity at natural, he had army sent up to what was going to be his third base, but they were kind of idle. They weren't killing anything. Finally started to take that base up, and that's like he's finally establishing that next base. Nice Pants up at the top left has his base, but it hasn't been mining from it. It's been completed, but he's not even building defense or anything. I feel like that could be the next target attack for Borsu, and that would actually go quite well because there's just nothing there.
Yeah. I like that it radiates on the way. I like that he's getting the second starport. That's all good stuff. He's maintained that sort of macro with the Marines and the medics. Things are looking good. He's not out of the woods yet, for sure, but Boris is making his way back onto the map, which is good.
I mean,
very good.
We were saying this before when he was playing, who was it, Dastardly Knight, the Pros player, in that very long, epic game with some of the memes. But he had spots where he was definitely down. He buckled down on the macro, made sure he got the job done. And because his opponent wasn't proactive and got the kill, he managed to claw his way back. This is a different matchup, but I feel like Borisu is definitely just one of those tenacious players that's like, I'm not going anywhere. You're going to have to kill me.
Yeah. I would love to see, and this isn't obviously a suggestion in any way, shape, or form, but I'd love to see him float a factory in a nice Pants' main and maybe build a couple proxy vultures.
No, never again. I hope whatever coach Boris who has yells at him immediately for that. Plague is done now as well, so some Marines get plagued, and it doesn't matter that these Ultralist upgrades don't have tremendous amounts of armor. If they're plagued and died one hit, that's going to be enough. So Nice Pants slowly crawling his way out of his natural, going to be able to move forward. And just building lots of good armies. There's actually a lot of Defilers here ready to go. And in the whole meantime, this bottom right base, while it has been undeterred, there's just not a lot of drones there. This thing we know Nice Pants for being so economical, it feels like there's actually a giant midsection of the game where he wasn't really leaning to the economy despite having all these bases.
Yeah, it's and that's definitely something that's really hard. Managing your economy and slipping in drones when you can playing against Terran can be always difficult. But we've seen him do that all game, and the payout here is this 9 Ultralisk army that's just wandering around at slow speeds. Like, that's hard to deal with.
Yeah, and Borisu has a good chunk of his army actually up at what would be the normal 4th base, that 12 o'clock base, with Nice Pants moving across, everything out of position. Although there is a bunker here, some units here, and the armor upgrades aren't tremendously good here. It is still a big force, and you got to figure out what we're going to do. Borisu getting attacked by a couple ultras, so that army at the top also pinned. The ultras are definitely enough to start mowing through this, and this third base that Borisu just got established taking so much damage.
This bunker is so surrounded by SCVs. I don't think it's going to get hit anytime soon here.
We're seeing a big move out from Nice Pants towards the front too. Lots of defilers, lots of things. But now we're at high tech. This is the kind of move where it's like, well, how do you actually defend this? Dark Swarm's really the only tech you actually need. It stops so many things. And meanwhile, Nice Pants back at home working on all these next steps as well, including drop. It has Overlord speed already, so there's going to be a lot of tricks in the playbook for Nice Pants moving forward.
This bunker is still alive at the third base of Borisu. It has taken out 4 separate Ultralisks. It might actually go down. I think Borisu stopped paying attention. He's using his SCVs to take it down. All right, there it is. My goodness, MVP of the game right there. But simultaneous huge attack at the natural. Nice plagues. Well done. There's only a few bunkers here and a couple of Marines, but they've killed off all the Ultras that have come in so far.
Yeah, but still slowing down the mine on that third base. Lots of big armies we're seeing from these defilers, still pushing their way through. Darkstorm's such a good spell in these situations. And we see even Borisu trying to build some fire bats to help out, but when it's just Ultralist, fire bats are effectively doing nothing. I don't care if they're actually hitting.
Yeah, like throwing lighters at a car, you know? Okay, so nice job. He's moving in. It's mostly just Overlords here left, but he's still got a fair number of defilers. He actually has a hero Mutalisk from earlier in the game, and he's coming down with some more cows, and these are fast ones. I think this might be the attack that does it, unless Borisu manages to hold it off.
I mean, there's a lot more Ultralists on the way too, and these bases pumping out so much money. We never see spots where Zerg's actually up double the supply. We were calling Borisu tenacious before, but I think this might be a bridge too far if he can actually get this one done. Dark Swarm's going to make this so hard to deal with, and unlike that third base that Borisu had, there isn't 20 SUVs preparing these bunkers. Like, these are not getting clipped out and messed up by the AI. These Ultras do it work.
Yeah. A few fire bats. So there is some damage under the Dark Storm, but not as much as he wants here. I will note that a Queen was just built by Nice Pants, so we might see some cheeky play here later. Maybe some ensnares or something exciting, but this is a tremendous number of Ultralisks. They are just streaming in here. I don't think there's anything that's going to stop this. This is an insane amount of units.
See, like, you guys should let me cast a Carbot. These could have been adorable, but right now this is just terrifying for the terror. Like, all these Ultras, it's going to be hard for them to actually get up that ramp, but Dark Storm's going to make it good. It's going to be easy to
look at all that damage coming from those fire bats. My God.
No. No, I'm not going to.
Unfortunately, no.
But this natural basic Borisu is not one for this world. I don't like the Nice Pants keeps trying to just work their way up the ramp, not really just take the easy kill that he has. Especially since Drop is already researched. He's got all these Overlords. He could be doing something, but here's some Irradiates finally. That might be doing more harm than good if he's just walking up the ramp at a bunch of Marines.
Yeah, certainly. He's doing as best he can. Borisu doesn't have a huge amount of options at this point. He's got units all over, and they're all Ultralisks, so very tough. But he's still managing to produce SCV third base, and I find that very admirable in spite of all the chaos.
Trying his best to maintain in this one. Nice Pants has a lot of strong units and really putting out. There's a little tiny force up at the top side that Borisu might be able to find some opportunity, but Nice Pants loving his stack defense. That's going to be able to stop and all that. Ultra's just in the base on the barracks. Like, the raids will eventually help and get the job done, but not enough. Borisu taps out. The power of Nice Pants macro enough to carry him through for another win. I think that's him winning. Did he win all the games? Did he win all the games?
I think he just took the 3 peats and the biscuit, unfortunately. I mean, that macro has just held him for so long. Nicely done. Nicely done. Not to take anything away from Borisu, he has given us some seriously beautiful games. Truly a pleasure to watch. Same thing with all these players. This whole group has been very, very entertaining. Very good games.
Yeah, that was a very fun group. Even, like, this was one of those things. I'm glad we had people tune in to watch this. I know lower tier play, it's like, well, maybe I'm not going to learn as much, but still, players are roughly about the same skill. The matches are very fun. You're seeing some stuff that you're not used to seeing, but it's still a good thing. The chat called out earlier, maybe he wants to do 200 ultras, and that's actually what he did. Nice pants showing what's up.
He went for it.
Yeah, but that's going to do it for us for the cast tonight. As a reminder, we got a match of the week tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be a little bit higher tier play. Preseason, it's week 2. It's group 31. This guy's in it, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know who that guy is, but, he's probably a weirdo. Nice job. Thank you so much to all the players. Thank you for the wonderful cast. It has been a pleasure.
Yeah, it was a very fun time. Thank you for joining me. IRK CoZ, he's got Twitch. He's done casting too. Go follow him. And I'll see you all tomorrow because you heard me tell you to be there. You have no reason not to. Finish off 2020 right. Get one more cast in you before we call it a year. So, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for CoZ for joining me.
Of course, thank you.
All right, calling it a night. See you tomorrow.